have won this or won that, but the refs in the league were out to screw him over. And so we did not have Field Yates on today just to do that. It's good timing. So we will talk to Field Yates certainly about those things. I don't need Field Yates coming on at noon just to poke fun at the Bills. We can do that on our own. I want to know some of the newsy parts about it that I think are some takeaways. Does Sean McDermott look better today than he did on Saturday after the game when they fired him? Does the job lose some, I don't know, is it less enticing with what we saw yesterday for a head coach? You still get Josh Allen, though.
It's a little bit like LSU.
I thought the same thing. That's kind of the example I was thinking in my mind, too.
Wow, Jason. Yes. Look at the big brain on Jason.
But they still ended up with Lane Kiffin.
Correct.
They're number one. So, about that. And then, to me, what can relate to the Chiefs to a degree, and hopefully that press conference never relates to the Chiefs in any way, shape, or form, because I don't think Clark Hunt would be up there acting like a clown. But Terry Pagula was asked, how much was Josh Allen involved, any input, aware, conversations before you fired Sean McDermott? And Terry Pagula said he had no input on the decision whatsoever. We talked to Josh Allen after we made the move. So I do think it's worthy of a conversation of which quarterbacks have risen to the level of status within their organization that they would be consulted to a degree or at least made aware of the decision that was being made before it becomes public.
Patrick,
yes, I would guess Josh Allen.
I would have guessed Josh Allen. Apparently,
Joe Burrow
for sure, and then I was going to say Lamar, but it felt like there was the hard
Lamar because they didn't really want him. Yeah, they didn't get along, right? And they had the issues with the contract and everything, so it didn't feel like there was a Lamar is going to win Super Bowls for us. We do whatever it takes to make sure he's good to go, because we thought Seattle was going to have Russell Wilson until he retired, and look how great that was going. And then there seemed to be this disconnect, and they didn't get along. Okay, so now Russell Wilson is out. Pete Carroll stays there. Well, you don't want to have that happen in different places. I think Patrick is certainly at that level. I don't think it would ever get to the point to where Clark Hunt is firing Sean McDermott, or I don't think he'll fire Sean McDermott either.
That'd be wild.
Firing Andy Reid. It may get to the point of where Andy Reid and Clark come to an agreement that maybe it's time to move on or something like that. But I would guess Patrick would be aware and involved. How much input, I don't know. But quarterback over coach that we've seen in the NFL, and you want to make sure that that guy is happy. I'm not saying Josh Allen is going to demand a trade or anything like that, but I thought it was interesting. He had no input. We told him after it was done. So, you know.
I would imagine, even with the Bengals, that Joe Burrow would have had a lot of say in Zach Taylor being there or being brought back, being gone or being brought, and he was brought back, which I think was a surprise to a lot of people.
Or at least signing off on it.
Yes, at least a, hey, he wasn't the issue. It was this, and this. We still think we can win with him. I would have to imagine that's the way it would have gone, because they've sunk so much and invested so much in Joe Burrow. The way the Bills have with Josh, the fact that they did not even consult him, to me. And again, maybe the same thing happens, and maybe this is them taking the screen for Josh, because maybe Josh said, hey, I want him gone.
Get the hell out. Do you think Terry Pagula would be that smart and media savvy to do that?
No, I don't think so. I think he would have thrown Josh Allen under the bus.
Josh was on board with this decision when we talked to him before we fired Sean McDermott. In fact, he was the one, just as Sean McDermott was pushing for Keon Coleman, Josh was the one pushing to fire Sean McDermott.
It was weird. We
didn't make the decision.
We wanted to keep Sean, and Josh actually said, get him out of here.
We're being a team player for Josh Allen, just as Brandon was being a team player for Sean McDermott to get Keon Coleman. That would have been hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
But it is something that I want to ask Field Yates, because maybe it's like, no, this is you're talking about hiring of a head coach that, quarterbacks can maybe be told, but it's how much input do they have? I'm not sure if there's much. And then we'll get into the Chad O'Shea, Eric Bieniemy sort of combination for the Chiefs and Andy Reid and filling out his coaching staff. I want to talk to him about some wide receivers that may be out there. We may not get into it today. We'll see how much time. But there's a number of things to talk with Field Yates about, as a couple of things that came out of press conferences. One yesterday from San Francisco about, Brandon Ayuk has played his last snap for the 49ers. I'm not saying the Chiefs should go get him at all, but how odd that whole thing is. And then Kyle Shanahan saying, it's something I've never seen in all my years of coaching. So, yeah, it's I don't get it, and it's confusing.
I will say this real quick because I have seen a lot of Chiefs fans on Twitter. I know Twitter is not real life, but I think there are a lot of Chiefs fans that are wondering, well, hey, why not take a flyer on Brandon Ayuk? First and foremost, Ayuk is not a guy who's going to take a flyer. The whole thing of why they went sideways originally was he wasn't going to play because of the contract situation. He wanted the new contract.
Right.
So what happens? Well, he gets the new contract. Yes, he gets injured, but then he just disappears. That was a guy, in my opinion, I don't know him personally, from the outside looking in, clearly was only about the money. That's all he cares about. That is clearly, they had a insane amount of injuries, especially to wide receiver. Seemed like he was healthy, and he's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Do you think that's the guy you want around Kansas City with, oh, by the way, Rashee Rice here, with Xavier Worthy being a young guy, with Jalen Royals being a young guy? Juju Smith-Schuster, I will say this, from all accounts, seems like a great dude. I know he's not the most talented guy anymore, but if you told me right now, who would you rather have on this team, Brandon Ayuk or Juju, and you can say the contracts are the exact same, I am taking Juju, and I am not even questioning that decision.
And that's because there's a bird in the hand. You know what you're getting with Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yes.
And there's an unknown of what you're going to get from Brandon Ayuk on the field and off the field and at the facilities and not showing up to rehab, to the point that they voided the guaranteed dollars on his contract, and he didn't file a grievance through the NFLPA to say, no, I've been wrongly voided this guaranteed money, that he's like, no, that's fine. I just want to get the hell out of here. And so just the whole thing is odd. He's not doing much to help his stock around the league to get a big payday yet again. And I'm fine with the Chiefs not. I mean, he didn't play this last year. He tore his knee up, and he's not doing the rehab stuff that they want him to do. That's the guy you want to bring in and say that he's going to be fully committed? So, no, he essentially took the year off.
Yes.
He tore his knee up early in the season in 24 and didn't come back in 25. I mean, doesn't sound like a guy that's doing everything he can to get back on the field compared to what we've seen with other players. I mean, Adrian Peterson coming back, a week after tearing an ACL or something like that, it seemed like it, and rushing for 2,000 yards. But that guy is he's a freak when it comes to, his body, clearly. But
again, you already have a question mark with Rashee Rice, and you want another question mark with, I can't imagine Andy Reid would be thrilled to have to deal with. Yeah, hey, Chad O'Shea, come to KC, be the wide receiver coach. Here's what we're giving you.
Yeah.
Headaches.
Yep, absolutely. So we may get into that. If not, then we'll get into it at a different time. And also, there is talk about the Jags trading Brian Thomas Jr., that they need a lot of other things, or they need help in different places. So would they be able to recoup a decent draft pick for Brian Thomas Jr., who's owed just under $5 million the next 2 years combined?
Yeah.
So 4.8 million would be his total cap the next 2 years combined. Parker Washington emerged. They signed Jacoby Myers, Travis Hunter returning. Does it make Brian Thomas expendable with the down year he had this year? And maybe the Liam Cohen system didn't quite mesh. Who knows? But is that somebody? I think certainly it's somebody that the Chiefs would be looking at to make a move. What it would cost?
Should be looking at, by the way.
Should be, yes.
And he's 6'2", 210.
Yeah, and he has great separation, and the Chiefs receivers don't necessarily have that. And he had a down year. He had drop issues, which isn't great. He would fit right into the Chiefs wide receiver room. But you would hope with better coaching, things like that, we'll find out. But they may not even move him, because, again, he's owed $5 million over the next. Now, his cap hit with them is different because of the guaranteed and the prorated signing bonus and everything. The cap hit for if you trade for him is going to be the base salary.
And you would have the fifth-year option, correct? Even
you would have that if you wanted to.
Because he's a first-round drafted 23rd overall. I don't know.
I wouldn't give up the 40th pick.
That's probably around what they're looking for.
Yeah, they're probably looking for a late first, early second. I just don't know how much you're getting a late first and early second when the day 1 and 2 picks are so valuable now because of NIL and players coming in. Teams aren't really trading those. Joe Tooney got a 4th rounder, which isn't the same, obviously. Jacoby Myers got a 4th and a 6th. Like the Jags gave up a 4th and a 6th for Jacoby Myers. Are they going to get a 1st for Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yeah.
After his rookie year, they might have.
Agreed. Rookie year for sure first. I think after last year.
The question would be, you want to get a 1st round for him, but Parker Washington emerged as a go-to target for Trevor Lawrence and Jacoby Myers over the guy that you're trading and wanting to get a 1st round draft pick for. And Trevor Lawrence was just named an MVP finalist,
which is hilarious to me. I'm sorry. That is.
I don't disagree. It's
and CMC was too,
Yeah.
and I think both were a little.
But I think that would
silly.
work. That would work against the Jags in trying to get a 1st rounder for him.
Agreed.
And saying, hold on, you got an MVP candidate, and Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers were more of the go-to guys, and Strange, and Brandon Thomas had a rough year, and you had to go and get Jacoby Myers because of him not having the year you would hope that he had. And now you want a 1st rounder for him, or now you want a top 2nd round pick for him. I don't know. Here's a late 3rd.
I would consider 40 for Brian Thomas. I would consider that for the Chiefs.
I don't consider it. I don't think I'd give it up, but I consider.
I don't think I would do it, but maybe 40 and you get something back. I don't know. I think you look at
I wouldn't hate it if they did it, because if you're saying, boy, you're going to get a wide receiver in the 2nd round, you would have 2, potentially 3 years of Brian Thomas at a total of $5 million.
Yeah.
You're not trading a 2nd rounder for a guy that's owed $28 million next year, something like that. It's
nearly 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns as a rookie. Then last year is 702.
Yeah.
But you're just hoping, at that point, you're just basically saying you hope that he's the rookie's the real one. And it wasn't like it felt like, at least from what I saw, it wasn't like it was a lack of what he was doing. It was just he had drop issues, and you're right, Parker Washington emerged.
Yep. So we may get into that with the field dates. May get into that at some point over the next few weeks as the season continues and we get into the offseason, Senior Bowl next year, all of that stuff as well. And college basketball, they've got a real issue that they've got to deal with now in the latest ruling out of Tuscaloosa for Charles Bediako, who is now a part of the Alabama Crimson Tide, who was playing in the G League last Saturday and will be playing against Tennessee for Alabama this Saturday. Signed an NBA contract and was deemed ineligible by the NCAA. And a Tuscaloosa County judge granted a 10-day stay, injunction, whatever you want to call it, so that he would be immediately eligible to play. So he will be playing on Saturday. And
what are we doing?
I am typically against the slippery slope argument of like, well, you've opened up Pandora's box. This is a slippery slope. I typically argue against that because I don't think it's as slippery of a slope as people immediately make it out to be. When they decided to take out in the NFL headhunting by safeties, just put flags on them. Just put flags on them. You're not even going to be able to tackle anymore. Well, there are often times in the NFL where you go, I don't know what a defender's supposed to do on that play.
Sure.
But we also don't see defenders going for head anymore, going for the shot. There is a target area that the defenders need to go to. There should be more grace given for a player that's falling and a defender that's going in, and then they meet, and it's like, oh, it's head-to-head. Well, he was heading towards his chest, and then the guy fell, and it became head-to-head. That's not somebody that's looking to do those things. That was somebody who was doing what you asked him to do. There should be way more grace given on that. But we have seen defenders adjust to that. So I typically fight back and push back on the slippery slope and Pandora's box and everything. This one, I'm not going to, because I think this has the potential of opening up some immediate issues that it would be more the Wild West than people have already made out NIL and transfer portal and immediate eligibility to be the Wild West. This one changes things more, even more than Najee with Baylor. That certainly opened up the door for this, which then compounds and does that open up the door for a lawyer to work on the side of a player and say, well, if that happened and that happened, well, then we can see if we can use this part for you, which might just be making it more and more extreme for the NCAA. It's something I want to talk about and get into. We'll take a break. We'll come back. I love looking back at different altering historical moves that are made. And we've talked about in college football before that Deshaun Watson chose Clemson over Georgia. And if Deshaun Watson chooses Georgia over Clemson, Dabo's probably fired and Mark Richt keeps his job. And Kirby Smart's probably not there at Georgia, because then Trevor Lawrence followed Clemson from Georgia, followed Deshaun Watson in his footsteps going to Clemson from Georgia. And it was kind of like, well, that's what he did. And then he did that. And it was like back to back. And it was like, wow, Mark Richt missed both of them. You're fired. You're not good enough. What if Deshaun stays in Georgia? So I like, those things are fun to think about. And we've done that where it's like, okay, what happens? What would have happened if this was different, that was different, if the Chiefs took Paxton Lynch, if the Broncos didn't trade in front of them, if the Bills didn't accept the trade with the Chiefs, or the Saints traded with the Bills, whatever it might be. But along those lines, what we saw this offseason, to me, was the culmination of what happened in 2017. We'll talk about that coming up next.
We'll talk 2017 on the other side, but we'll live in the now right now because FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you right there in the app, because more boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups that you believe in. So, you know me, I'm going with the Patriots. That line is actually going towards Denver, and I have been shocked by that. I'm riding it with the Patriots, and I like the line even more now. I like the Rams over the Seahawks. Looks like it's starting to trend a little bit more towards the Rams. I like the Rams. I don't care. Give me the experience of McVay and Matt Stafford. I just don't trust Sam Darnold if he has to make a big-time play. So what you can do then is either ride with me or fade me, might be your best bet, and apply your profit boosts and go after even bigger payouts, all while the playoffs keep rolling. So what you need to do is go to FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
So looking back can be fun, and appreciating what we have in the present is always something that we should do. You know, it's a gift from God. That's why it's called the present.
Don't smile because it's over. Cry because it happened.
That's exactly right. That's what I would say
how
about
I think it.
the 25 football season
For the Bills feel at least, too.
Yeah, for the Chiefs, the Hawks, the Cats, and the Tigers.
Yeah.
Don't smile because it's over. Cry because it happened.
Yeah.
But this offseason to me is a fascinating study and look about what happened in 2017. The Chiefs recognizing what was a franchise-altering quarterback and making the necessary moves to trade up, give up an extra first-rounder to get somebody that you are pushing your chips into the table with. Because if you miss on that, if you traded up for Trubisky, you don't have a first rounder the next year, and you got a bad quarterback. And then you got to go and find a quarterback again. And then you have to trade another pick for that. And while you're trying to find the quarterback, you're not getting the cornerback or the defensive end or the wide receiver or the cornerback or the tackle or the offensive line. You're missing some of those things while you keep searching for QB. Okay? And also whatever the cap hit might be to go and pay for a free agent quarterback. So, historically speaking, it's one of the greatest trade-ups in the history of the NFL. But this offseason, to me, is so amazing based on 2017. Because if the Chiefs, or if the Bears, let's say, were smart enough to take Patrick Mahomes with the second pick, Sean McDermott still has a job. John Harbaugh still has a job. And Zach Taylor may not. And the reason I say that is Buffalo would have gotten past the Chiefs if Patrick Mahomes didn't exist in the AFC. If Trubisky and Mahomes' careers were flipped in the cities they went to, Mahomes would not have been in the AFC. It would be Josh Allen. That's losing to the Chiefs 4 times, losing in the AFC Championship to the Chiefs. The Chiefs wouldn't have been there. It would have been the Bills and the Texans last year in the AFC Championship game in Buffalo.
So the Bills would just have lost 4 straight Super Bowls.
That's exactly what I'm saying, yes.
Times 2
Yes.
to Patrick.
Right, yes. But losing Super Bowls and getting there would not have resulted in Sean McDermott being fired.
Yeah.
He would still have a job. John Harbaugh and the Ravens, I believe, would have probably gone to a Super Bowl, a couple of years ago as they were 4.5-point favorites over Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs at home with one of the all-time great DVOA total teams that we've seen in like the last 10 years. And you can make a case that Zach Taylor still has a job because they won in 2021 against the Chiefs and made the Super Bowl.
Wait. Matt Nagy would be the best coach in the NFL.
He'd be coaching Patrick Mahomes in Chicago?
Well, think about it. He went 34-31 with Trubisky.
Yeah.
He would have been.
Man, we'd be talking about, you let Matt Nagy get away. Matt Nagy was here as your OC.
Wow.
And you kept Andy, and you let Nagy. What Baltimore's saying about Mike McDonald.
That would be a really weird conversation. Because that would have been probably the same, if in this hypothetical, of course, Matt Nagy would be a top 3
coach. If he's coaching
coach.
Patrick Mahomes in Chicago.
Yes. That is insane, which, by the way, had been so weird that Chicago still wouldn't have a 4,000-yard passer. Every year, he's 3,999.
Just can't get over the
50
hump.
touchdowns, but he can't get 4,000. It's weird.
But Sean McDermott's not fired. If Patrick Mahomes in the NFC, Sean McDermott is not fired right now. Buffalo is the premier franchise of the AFC again in this run in these last 6 or 7 years. Because I think they would have made 1 or 2. I think the divisional round game, the 13 seconds, I think they go to the Super Bowl that year. Because I think they take care of the Bengals at home that next week if they get past the Chiefs. That team was freaking stacked, man.
Yeah.
That team was so good. And it's so annoying to look back at that game and hear people talk about how Josh Allen outplayed Patrick Mahomes when Patrick Mahomes was going up against that Bills defense and doing that in that game that the Chiefs controlled the entire game. And the last 2 minutes was historic in the crazy back and forth swings of momentum and win probability. But I still believe the Bills, because of what would be at stake in Buffalo at home, I don't think they would have let up at halftime. I think they would have kept the pedal to the metal and beat the Bengals there at home and gone to the Super Bowl. I think last year they go to the Super Bowl. I don't know that they win or not. I think they might have won one. That's 3 different times I think they would have made the Super Bowl if not for the Chiefs. 2020, because they made the AFC Championship game.
Sure.
Last year, AFC Championship game. 2021, when they lost in 13 seconds. Maybe they lose all 3. Maybe they get one, and Josh Allen has a ring and Sean McDermott has a ring, and he's going to have a statue in Buffalo as opposed to a fired coach and the joke of the owner's press conference.
So what it comes down to, and I think it's a great point, Patrick gets people fired.
Yes, he gets a lot of people paid,
Yes.
and he gets people fired.
Because what Buffalo has done, what the Ravens have done 10 years ago, I think would have been almost lauded. I mean, Mike Tomlin wasn't winning Super Bowls, but he was getting the 500 record and above. It wasn't even making the playoffs every single time. And his job felt extremely safe before it finally felt outdated. If Patrick just didn't exist, I don't think the Bills nor the Ravens would have been moving on from their head coach. I don't.
I mean, 2023, it would have been the Bills and the Ravens in the AFC Championship game instead of the Chiefs and the Ravens by going to Buffalo and winning.
And what's really funny is on the other side of things, I think not fired necessarily, it makes it closer to fired even if you're the head coach of Patrick Mahomes because you know how good he is and you know, like if the Chiefs would have done this with, let's just say, Alex Smith, no chance, even after last year, Andy Reid would be anywhere near the conversation of fired from fans on Twitter. I don't think that's even a conversation. But because we know who Patrick is, we know he's in his prime, we know we don't want to waste a year of prime Patrick, well, one bad year has already had people pick up, not everyone, some people pick up pitchforks on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick, when you have him, he gets people fired because he's that damn good.
And he also makes legends out of people because Andy Reid could go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest coaches ever if he wins another Super Bowl or 2 with Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
And it's like, well, look what he did in Philly. Look what he did in Kansas City. Look what Bill Belichick did with any other team besides the Patriots. Look what he did in college. Look what all these other great coaches did with one franchise. Andy Reid did what he did in Philly with Donovan McNabb and going to a Super Bowl and 4 straight NFC Championship games. Then he gets to the Chiefs to the playoffs every year but one. Then he gets a Hall of Fame all-time great quarterback and goes to, well, at that point, if he wins 2 more, 8 Super Bowls and wins 5 of them. He's the greatest coach we've ever seen, as opposed to they don't make the trade for Mahomes. The Bills say no thank you, or the Saints move up, whatever it might be, and they stay with Alex Smith, and they extend him, and it's divisional round losses, wild card losses, maybe an AFC championship loss, and just not good enough. And at some point, Clark Hunt goes, well, we got to find a different guy to get us over the hump because this feels like Marty. Get us there, but can't get us there.
You just can't even explain the fact that the Bills got basically every single draft pick correct. They nailed everything from that Patrick Mahomes trade. I mean, if you look back, it's insane. It'd be an A+. The difference is they didn't get Patrick, so it didn't matter. I mean, they got Josh Allen, and then the next year, but the actual trade, the picks, they nailed them all. And it didn't matter.
Josh Allen has been just good enough to lose to Patrick Mahomes and Burrow and now somehow Bo Nix in the playoffs, but not good enough to get over the hump. Like right now, I mean, Joe Burrow's gone to a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson has not. But Josh Allen would be the best quarterback in the NFL to not, I mean, he's the second best quarterback in the NFL, but one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to not make a Super Bowl. If he doesn't make a Super Bowl, I think he'd be the greatest quarterback we've ever seen to not even go to a Super Bowl. Because he'd be a better quarterback than Phillip Rivers. Marino went to one. You know, all these other all-time greats at least went to one outside of Phillip Rivers, but we're not really talking about Phillip Rivers as an all-time great, where we're talking about Josh Allen being this freak of nature and doing these things that we haven't seen before. Mike Sando last Thursday was a great way of describing it, and I'll continue to use it. I'll give him credit until I stop giving him credit. Then I'll just say I did it myself. When the legend becomes fact, print the legend. He said, Josh Allen is John Elway in Cam Newton's body. I love that description. Love it. Except for John Elway went to 5 Super Bowls and won 2 of them. So eventually you got to get there if you want to be viewed at that level. I've always said you can't be viewed as a GOAT quarterback if you only have 1 Super Bowl. It's why the Broncos defense carrying Peyton Manning to a Super Bowl means so much for his legacy, because he's got 2.
Sure.
If you want to argue Peyton in there, that's fine. He's got 2. I wouldn't go that route. If you only had 1, step aside. You only got 1 Super Bowl in your career. I don't care about Tom Brady and all of this stuff back and forth, because you had a better record in the postseason than Tom Brady. You had a better record against Tom Brady, I should say. You had a winning record against Tom Brady in the postseason. I'll get it right eventually. But he won 2. So I believe you put him in the conversation because he won 2. Mahomes has 3. Some of these other quarterbacks we've seen with 3 and 4. Elway's got 2. Marino doesn't have any. It's hard to put him in the conversation. Get over the hump. Find a way to carry your team. And again, I think the difference is, when we talk about all-time greats, Sterling, what Josh Allen did in Denver on Saturday versus what Patrick Mahomes did in Baltimore 2 years ago.
And I looked back, and I even said after that game, the playoff run, the win against Miami, the win against Baltimore, the Chiefs, the ones that they had, I looked back and said, I now have a greater appreciation for Tom Brady, which was a hilarious thing I thought to say.
You didn't have an appreciation for Tom Brady
No,
before?
I did. I said a greater appreciation.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because...
No, you say greater, I hear you hated him.
Yeah.
And you thought he sucked.
But
worst quarterback ever.
You'd look at some of the stat lines, and you say, well, he went, say 20 of 25 or 20 of 27, and it was 212 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, or no touchdowns, no picks. And you're like, well, that's just a game manager. How can he be the GOAT if he's just... And then I look back after when Patrick did that against Baltimore, I go, because that's what was needed.
Yes.
Why would you put the ball in harm's way? Why would you make anything that could potentially add risk? Your defense is doing their job. You know this.
Don't put on the cape until you have to.
Agreed. And he did against Buffalo the following week, right?
The previous week.
The previous week, yes.
He was unbelievable. He sees Buffalo, and it's like a bull that sees red.
And so,
for whatever reason, with Patrick Mahomes. And I appreciate him for that.
When he had that run, I got a greater appreciation of Tom Brady and some of those, hey, he didn't need to. So why are we always talking about the stats when the actuality of it is wins mean more than stats?
He had to do it against the Falcons, and look what he did.
Dak Prescott has great stats, but if it all comes to the fourth quarter when you're down 21 just to make it a 3-point loss, does it really matter? Nice 364, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, but you were down 21, and all you did was garbage time made it close.
Yeah. Now I lost my fantasy week because of those BS garbage time, and I was going up against Dak Prescott.
Correct.
I hate it.
And so I think Josh Allen tried to put the cape on when he didn't need to. Mm-hmm. He did not need to, before half, run around and try and get 12 yards with
no timeouts.
No time. I mean, that's the one that really gets me more than anything. Yeah. Even the underthrown ball, I think, was a little receiver issue. It wasn't all on him, which a lot of interceptions, a lot of plays, there's some nuance involved.
With the overthrown ball to Dawson Knox.
The overthrown ball, all of that. So I actually find myself wishing, to an extent, that Buffalo would have won.
Oh, yeah, I certainly do.
I wish that Buffalo would have, to an extent, won a Super Bowl. You know why?
Why?
Their little brother. Their little brother. You want your little brother to get one sometimes because it makes you look a little better. I think if Josh Allen gets one, it almost makes Patrick and the Chiefs look better.
I think this year, if Mahomes wasn't in it and Josh Allen wins, then that would be, wow, literally the quarterback that is keeping him from winning a Super Bowl is Patrick Mahomes. Losing to the Broncos and Bo Nix does hurt a little bit of the Mahomes dominates Allen.
That's my point.
That's a good point.
Because if they would have won, the only thing that keeps him, more times than not, is Patrick.
Yeah.
And so then you can make the case of the 1 year they don't make the playoffs, the Bills win.
Yeah.
They come back next year, let's say that the Chiefs knock out the Bills in the playoffs yet again, it's basically now fact.
Yeah.
It would then become, no, this is now fact. It's not conjunction. It's not a theory.
Yeah.
It's not a theorem. It's fact. And so
chlorophyll, more like borophyll.
And so for that reason, I was rooting for the Bills because I think it would almost cement the legacy and the ridiculous nature of Patrick in the playoffs, especially over the Bills.
Well, I was rooting for the Bills just because bleep the Broncos. You know what I mean?
And by the way, just going back to
I jumped on a table for some reason.
The trade. The Bills got back Trey White.
Yeah.
They were able to trade up and get Deion Dawkins and Zay Jones. and then Traymon Edmonds.
Yeah. So Edmonds was the pick they got with their pick, and then they got Trey White for the Chiefs pick.
Correct.
Yeah, they got it right.
And then Deion Dawkins.
Yeah, they got it right.
You got 3
Yeah.
cornerstone pieces, and it still wasn't even close to being the value because the Chiefs got
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Because if you flip Mahomes and Josh Allen, it's probably the Bills. I mean, yes, Andy Reid makes a difference if he has Josh Allen, but I don't think it would be the 4-0. It might be 2-2. It might be 3-1. But even if it's 3-1, it's still 1, as opposed to 4-D. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. Chad O'Shea and the move that the Chiefs made proves, or at least gives us a real-time example of what we brought up with Matt Derrick on Friday, that we were sort of contemplating the idea about the Chiefs and offseason moves. And then we hear about Chad O'Shea and what I presented on Twitter yesterday, which gives us the information that sort of what we talked about with Matt Derrick is true. And that's what's been happening. We'll explain next. Playoffs time. 3 games remaining. Are you kidding me? Where did the time go? I feel like it was just yesterday that we were talking about a Wednesday, January 21st. It was actually. But this season dragged on and then felt like it went really fast as well. Well, it's playoffs time. Let's go. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. In the postseason, the game, it shifts fast. And with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment, make every moment matter. This NFL postseason with DraftKings. Plus, DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. With DraftKings, you're covered through the entire half. Why bet your player props anywhere else? And new customers, here's your shot. Bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code 810WHB. That's code 810WHB to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
We'll talk with Ken Swanson coming up at 11 o'clock, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. He'll be heading to the Shrine Bowl, I believe. We'll get his thoughts on if he's heading down there. I believe he is. They do a great job, KC Sports Network does, in covering all these senior bowls and things like that. These, not Pro Bowls, but All-Star Bowls, if you want to call it that. I don't know. You know. So we'll talk with him coming up at 11 o'clock. And we'll talk about EB and Chatty O, as Mark Boerichter called him earlier this week, said, oh, man, I loved working with Chatty O. Chatty O was awesome. And then Gronk yesterday with Up and Adams, like, Chatty O's my guy. You know, I'm like, oh, I guess that's just what people call him.
Well,
Chatty O.
It's almost like Chatty O'Shea might be the most Irish name.
Hey, it's Chatty O'Shea here.
Right? So I wonder if
I need
that,
you to run a route right for me.
I wonder if that's what it is, like Patty O'Shea, but it's Chatty O'Shea. That's the first thing I thought of.
Looks like you're a pint short of the end zone there, bud. But anyway, apparently he's called Chatty O.
I like it. You know what? I'm in.
We can only talk about him coaching the wide receivers with an Irish accent.
When we ever talk to Chad O'Shea,
Great route.
first thing I'm going to say is, who's your favorite golfer? Is it Rory?
Yeah. Do you go like 1 wood, 3 wood off the tee, or do you like an iron with a green?
Dude, I'm from Chicago.
Yeah, I don't even think he was born in Houston.
Well, I know that. I know he's not Irish. It's like the look of the Irish on me. I'm not Irish. You tell me.
Irish he was.
You know, damn it.
That was dumb.
No, it wasn't. I like it. So anyway, we'll talk about Chatty O with some chatty Cathys like Ken Swanson and his laboratory podcast buddies.
Do you think Irish people make fun of our accent?
Yeah,
They're
more
like, I'll use my credit card. Do you have any non-dairy creamer?
I like how we both said, they're like, and then we're both going to do some random stuff.
Do you have any oat milk?
Let's take a break.
Kent Swanson of KCSN is brought to you by Dick Ray Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Are you planning to spend money on a new AC or furnace repair this year? Dick Ray can help. Show us a 2025 HVAC repair invoice from any company, and we'll credit that amount towards a new system up to $2,500. Call 913-DICK-RAY or go to dickray.com for details.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, heading up until 2 o'clock. Let's talk some NFL football, some Chiefs football with our man from KC Sports Network, the KC Laboratory Podcast. It is Kent Swanson joining us here in the zone on this Thursday. Kent, what is up, brother? How you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm joining you from Irvine, Texas. Maddie Lane just got in a few minutes ago. We are gearing up here at KC Sports Network to cover the East-West Shrine Bowl this weekend, so we're looking forward to that.
Heck yeah, dude. That is awesome. It's one of the things that I was going to ask you about is, being there and some of the guys you may be looking for and looking to talk to and interested in. I know it's the Shrine Bowl and not the Senior Bowl, but I'm curious your reaction to Ruben Bain accepting the invite to the Senior Bowl. Would be getting there less than a week after playing in the national championship, and a guy that's pretty much a top 10 pick. I thought, to me, it's like asking the girl that you've got a big crush on to go to prom, thinking, well, she's going to say no, but I might as well ask. And it's like, oh wait, what? You said yes? What did you make of Ruben Bain saying, yeah, let's go, I'm going to the Senior Bowl?
Well, I think the draft's so wide open after pick number 1. I think Fernando Mendoza goes to the Raiders, and I think it's so open-ended after that I think Ruben Bain could be in play as early as 2, and this is another opportunity for him to show that. It's a great opportunity for him to kind of continue to shine through some of the questions about arm length. I think that's it's a good opportunity for him. I will say too, there's some Indiana players here this week. Riley Nowakowski, the fullback, I think Tucker said he saw him today already. They're starting practice in like 2 days.
That's amazing. I mean,
and they're turning around. The champagne hasn't dried off the sweatshirt yet, probably, and they're out here too. So yeah, man. Like, good on these guys. They love football, and if they're going to go out there and compete, that's really impressive. And I think it's a good opportunity for Bain, though.
Yeah, here's the thing, Kent. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of rumors of Ruben Bain off the field issues that I'm just saying would not make sense to take him in the top 8. It's too much of a risk for your reward in the top 8 for what I'm hearing personally about some things behind the scenes, some red flag. 9 is right where I think he should go. 9's the value, sort of marrying those things. So I'm worried for other teams in the top 8 if they're going to ignore those things. That's all.
Yeah, I've heard he has no arms, actually. So, and I think that should just continue.
Bucky LaGrange, the scrappy little no-arm second baseman.
It probably should fall.
That was I said yesterday, I was like, I hope he has 25-inch arms. I hope they measure his arms. And it's like, oh my God, he actually is a T-Rex. He said he's stepbrothers. He dreamed of growing up and being a dinosaur. Like, you're a human. You can't be a dinosaur.
The funny thing is, there is noticeable changes recently. There's been some noticeable changes to arm lengths between like the Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl, and then like what winds up being the measurements at the combine, and they somehow wind up being like half an inch longer. And it's like, what are these guys doing in between the process here to grow their arms or stretch their arms out right before measurements? Like, but it's a thing. It's been a trend that the combine's been a lot longer arm length than what's shown up at these things.
Yeah, I wonder what's the arm length training? Just pulling on his arms constantly, stretching them out.
I want to know.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Kent Swanson is our guest. All right, are there a couple players you're looking forward to talking to or watching play in person that you might have your eye on for a Kent guy when that draft guide comes out?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I think there's several, and like we're hoping to talk to several of the local players here. There's kids represented from KU and Missouri, so we're hoping to get to talk to Jalen Daniels, Emmanuel Henderson, Keegan Trost at some point. But as far as some of the players that I'm really paying attention to, like, I think it's a really good linebacker class, a really good linebacker group here. And so hoping to get to talk to some of these guys, Harold Perkins Jr. from LSU, looking Red Murdoch from Buffalo, and Jake Golday from Cincinnati. It could be a good day 2, day 3 value for the Chiefs at the linebacker spot if they do decide to go there. So those are, I think the linebacker group's probably the best group. Dante Corleone, the defensive tackle from Cincinnati, too, as well. He's massive nose tackle, and I'd love to get a chance to see him and potentially see him in Kansas City.
If the Chiefs don't draft Don Corleone, what are we even doing here?
Exactly.
I mean, come on, man. The dude's name is Don Corleone.
The only other place that might be a little bit more fitting is like Philly.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably right. You know, Philly or, New York or something like that, or Chicago. But
hey, Casey's got the deep roots too, though.
I'm telling you, man, the KC mob runs deep, dude.
Just saying.
I mean, yeah, Don Corleone. We need that guy. Yeah, there's so many different things we can do with that. That would be fun. All right, so let's get to the news, Kent. Eric Bieniemy. The news broke on Monday that Eric Bieniemy was, at least there was a request to talk to Eric Bieniemy, and then that quickly moved to the wheels have been in motion for a couple of weeks to he's expected to be offensive coordinator, to then last night it became official that the Chiefs said Eric Bieniemy is the new offensive coordinator. What's your take on this, your view, your opinion on EB to KC?
Kind of felt like this is where it was heading. And, I think, in the pie in the sky hope for Chiefs fans, it was maybe the Chiefs would actually be interested in really overhauling some things and getting some fresh ideas and bringing in Mike McDaniel. But I don't know how realistic that ever really was for the Chiefs' options with Andy Reid at the helm. And it kind of felt like EB was where this thing was trending. And, I think it's kind of one of those things like, when we talk about how do you feel about the Chiefs draft after night one? Well, you kind of got to see what the rest of the draft looks like, right, to get a real good representation of how things go. Look, EB, we all know kind of what he is. We know that this team has had some success with him in a leadership role there. But I'm more curious to see what happens with all these positional coaches, right? That seems to be where some of these fresh ideas that we're all hoping for come from. And Chad O'Shea being the wide receiver coach was a great start. I'm hoping for some fresh outside perspective in the running back room too. And if that, if you look at it from a totality perspective, I think I'll feel okay. I think I'll feel okay about Eric Bieniemy and some outside voices coming into the offensive side of the ball. And it really does look like they're trying to do that.
I would have ranked it if you'd have said, the outside OCs that people were talking about. Obviously, number one for a lot of people was Mike McDaniel. My number two was Nathan Shieldhouse. My number three, I'm not even sure after that. It wasn't Kingsbury. I was not a Kingsbury guy. But regardless, there was, besides those guys, if we said who were the, let's be honest, Andy Reid, more realistic hires, I would have ranked it Bieniemy, Kafka, Blameyer. If I had my choice. And the reason I would have done that is Bieniemy, from what we've said may have slipped over the last couple of years, from how players have talked about Eric Bieniemy to then him being with Ben Johnson for a year and the running backs being an issue, and maybe Kent with Patrick Mahomes' injury, there needs to be more of a renewed focus on the running game and giving Patrick more quote-unquote breathers, as Matt Nagy called it. Bieniemy would have been my number one based on all of those. Of the guys that we thought Andy Reid's going to go to the same old guys that he knows. So I said on Monday, I'm like, you know what? I'm surprisingly okay with this. And the reason I felt I was surprisingly okay is that I just never really thought the Shield House or the Mike McDaniel thing was ever a real possibility. That it was kind of a pipe dream. And I think the frustration for people, Kent, was the pipe dream becoming reality, that it was not he hasn't hired somebody yet, so in theory he could go outside the Andy Reid tree. Okay, he didn't. We knew that was going to be the case, and now I can give my frustrations of what I thought was going to happen anyway, and it's Eric Bieniemy. I think if you remove the Eric Bieniemy name, Kent, I think people looking at what all he brings, I think people would be pretty down with the hire.
Yeah, and I think there's layers to like what he's ultimately asked to do, right? Because like I think that's probably a piece of the nuance that doesn't get always completely fleshed out. And with Andy, what is he tasking Eric Bieniemy with doing as the offensive coordinator, right? And what does that free Andy up to do? That's where I think the trust comes in. He feels like he can set some things and forget them and focus on some of the other things that he might need to pay more attention to. And maybe some of that is advancing the scheme, right? Like, hey, look, you be my primary point of contact here for the rest of the staff. You keep everybody on task. You keep everybody on this. I'm going to focus on some of these other things here. That could be the working dynamic that helps Andy Reid be the best version of himself. And if that's the case, and if that's what this team needs, there is a path to success for that for sure. My hope is that it's a little bit of both. It's because I don't want Andy to my hope is that the hires that happen to this point or moving forward are signs of, hey, we need some fresh ideas outside this building, outside of this tree. That's why Chad O'Shea's here. I'd love for that to manifest itself in the running back room too. Let's get someone outside the tree, pluck someone from outside of your tree, bring them in, and have some outside influences that maybe allow you to look at things a little bit differently, and kind of, might help Andy when it's all said and done.
Ken Swanson's our guest. I mean, we've said this a couple times on the air this week and talking about the moves that they've made with the coaching staff that, there's only so many different things that you can, innovate or update and, route concepts and different blocking schemes and things like that. Like, there are different systems in how they use certain things in motion. But, there's some things that some offenses have in common. But Ben Johnson is a real heavy focus on going under center. And one of the real, I would say, trusts that I would have in Andy Reid is that I would highly doubt, Kent, that Andy Reid would bring in Eric Bieniemy and tell him, shut your mouth on anything, Ben Johnson. I don't care about what you guys did there. This is Kansas City. We're coming back, and you know what the offense is here. Like, what's the point of having Eric Bieniemy around him for the last year and a team that does run the ball a certain way and goes under center as often as they do, if you're not going to say, Eric, what about this? What were you guys doing there? Why was this sort of something that you guys did? And maybe Andy Reid has already figured it out, and they just need Eric Bieniemy to more teach it to the fine details of what he was doing in Chicago. There's no way you bring in Eric Bieniemy and Chad O'Shea and say, I don't care what you guys were running and what systems you were with last year. You're coming in here to run our system. I think it's sort of an admission, right, of let me bring some guys in from different places and combine this in totality, which, Kent, isn't that what people were asking for the last month?
Yeah, it is. And I think that's the hope. And if that is true, I think that's a big win for the Chiefs organization, to be able to get some fresh ideas into that offense, and for Andy to be willing. I think Andy gets a little bit of a bad rap with some of this. Like, I do think he's stubborn, right? To a degree, but like that's what's got him here. But the flip side of it also is I do think he's shown a propensity to be willing to adapt. Like the first thing he did when he came to Kansas City was hire Chris Alt to learn the pistol. And so I don't think he gets enough credit for adapting and evolving. And I think with offensive play calling, with how they build this thing out, like there's a menu that Andy Reid's going to present to this coaching staff of this is the stuff that we can run, this is the stuff I want to run this year. But it's up to the rest of the staff to kind of help maybe try to influence how much certain things are run, what is run more frequently, what that's really, I think, the changes that can kind of come from this. I don't think they're overhauling the offense, but maybe Chad O'Shea is going to be a bigger advocate for different route concepts, right?
Yeah,
that might be run more frequently. And I think that's what you're kind of hoping as this thing grows, as this thing develops and changes, if it is going to, that those kind of influences from the menu that Andy Reid creates are diversified, that are changing a little bit differently.
I don't know what the dynamic was in those meetings with the coaches, with the offensive coaches and positional coaches together as they're going through whether game plans or what they may see for specific weeks or specific players. I have no idea. So this is all just speculation. But based on sort of historical coaches over the years and with massive amount of experience and who they would sort of listen to or trust, I'm going to assume that if a meeting is taking place about, as you would say, route concepts, and Chad O'Shea says, I think this is what we should be doing with Xavier Worthy, that it might be received a little bit differently from Andy Reid if, say, Connor Embry was saying, no, this is how we should be using Xavier Worthy. I don't know that for a fact. I would just guess based on experience and being there and the Chiefs going out and identifying, pinpointing Chad O'Shea as the guy they want to bring in. I'd guess there's probably a little more pull or sway, as you said, with route concepts as to how maybe he looks at it and goes, I think we should be using Xavier Worthy this way or Rashee Rice this way. I think we can get more out of this guy doing this. Maybe received a little bit differently than if, say, Connor Embry did it.
So there's this really interesting, about an hour-long video that John Gruden put out recently talking about kind of what a head coach goes through, and he did it from the perspective of an offensive play calling head coach.
Okay.
And like how you're building a game plan every single week. And a lot of what he talks about is things that if you're paying attention to what the Chiefs talk about, it's a very similar structure. And I would imagine Gruden and Reid go about things very similarly, just because of, their education and where they based out of and Holmgren and all that, right? So we can make some logical leaps there. And the Chiefs, we've heard them cite this. Andy will delegate responsibilities for different pieces of the game plan to his coaching staff. And he will give, hey, Chad O'Shea, you're going to be third down passing. Hey, Eric Bieniemy, you're going to be the low red. You're gonna be the blitz game. You're gonna be working on our protections. Obviously, he's delegating these different pieces of the game plan. Now, Andy ultimately has that final say. He has the check off. He's that 51%. He always talks about. I mean, that 1% carries a ton of weight, yes. Right? Let's just be honest with it. But the hope is okay, so if Chad O'Shea is responsible for these things, yes, the Chiefs are going to have their base offense to build this game plan out of. But hopefully Chad O'Shea can allow, he's allowed the opportunity to say, maybe we do throw some more digs here. Maybe we push the ball down the field a little bit more here. Maybe we don't run mesh here. And Andy has that, Andy gives that guy the freedom to be able to do that a little bit more, to be heard. That's the hope. And with Connor Embry and some of these other voices, if they're all coming with if the structure was the same prior to some of these fresh voices, these are all guys that learned under Andy. So if the message is just repetitive to the same stuff that Andy's thinking all the time, that doesn't help anyone grow. No. And that's probably why you see mesh so much. It's because everyone's probably, just mesh it. Just run mesh. Just run that.
Andy, this seems like a great place to run mesh. So I think we should do this. Look, Andy, the people want to hear the Macarena. I know it kind of gets old, but it's working. Let's just play the Macarena. Okay, we play the hits. Play the hits, man. Let's run that mesh. Do you think Eric Bieniemy returning and Travis Kelce's commentary yesterday on New Heights increases the possibility of Kelce returning to the Kansas City Chiefs for at least another year?
I think it hurts. I mean, I don't know if it increases the chance. I don't know if he's coming back just to be coached one more year by Eric Bieniemy, but I do think that probably energizes him if the idea of returning is very much in play. And at this point, it does kind of feel like just some of the comments he's made about his body and all that. Like, if his body's good, he feels like he's going to play. Makes me think he is. And maybe this energizes him just a little bit more, but I don't know if it has too much of a factor in whether or not he comes back. I do think it's a positive that he's supporting the idea, though.
Yeah. Visiting with Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Is there anybody out there, whether it's the Chicago Bears or Cleveland Browns, that may be a possibility for the Chiefs to bring in with some familiarity with those particular coaches. I've listed Njoku as one of the tight ends I think would be interesting in Kansas City. I do wonder, he wasn't the tight end coach, but if Chad O'Shea's relationship there maybe influences one way or another, that if Kelsey doesn't return, if Njoku is a possibility or an option.
Yeah, Njoku's probably on the short list there. DJ Moore, if he gets released, I'd be curious to see what his situation is. I don't know how well he aligns with, what the Chiefs currently have in the receiver room, so I don't know if it'd be a great fit entirely, but just looking from a pure talent perspective, like you got to kind of turn over every stone there and kind of figure some things out. And then, hey, look, there's still another position open. Like maybe someone from the running back room. Maybe there's some crossover and some influence there. I think there's a logical trend there though to be paying attention to, is where some of these coaches come from. Maybe some of the players that were previously with them. I think Njoku's a good one. DJ Moore might be a good one as well.
Ken Swanson is our guest. Who do you find yourself rooting for on Sunday? In the AFC specifically, or do you root one way or another? Does it matter either way? It sucks. But what are you thinking of the AFC Championship game, where either the Broncos or the Patriots are going to play in the Super Bowl?
I'm probably rooting for the Patriots. Rooting's a strong word. I'm going to tolerate the Patriots winning a little bit more than the Broncos would, especially because it doesn't really matter, but the Bo Nix discourse will become insufferable even though he's not there if the Broncos are able to make the playoffs without, or make it to the Super Bowl without him. And then it'll just be this, the whole off season will be about that. So I think I'd probably go with the Patriots. What a weird year that both of these teams are sitting top of the AFC. I don't know if we'll see this happen another time in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope we get back to the star-studded cast that includes Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, or Patrick Mahomes taking on a backup quarterback or something like that. That'd be cool too. Maybe don't go through Josh Allen and Lamar and Joe Burrow every single year. It'd be nice to go through Drake May's run of Herbert, Stroud, and Stidham, and maybe Darnold to make his way to a Super Bowl. So that'd be nice every once in a while as well. Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Kent, are you heading to Costco today or tomorrow to stock up for hunkering down for the massive winter storm that's going to be here this weekend?
Well, I'm in Dallas.
Oh, that's right. You're in Irvine.
But we're catching it the same way, and it might even be worse. It might be icy, and apparently Dallas drivers don't know how to drive in the ice. So
you're getting it worse, dude.
I might still have to get BJ to take us out to a Costco and load up, because that's not a bad idea, man.
Yeah, the ice is supposed to hit all over there. Well, we're getting the snow, but you guys might be getting the ice, man. Good call going to a warmer climate in January to enjoy yourself there. Well, nailed it, man, by the way.
Really worked out for us, yeah.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I won't see you at Costco then while we're all stocking up with everybody else. So, Kent, you're the man. Enjoy Dallas and the Shrine Bowl, and hopefully things are good with the ice and the storm. And we'll hang out with you in a couple of weeks and see what your thoughts are from things you took away from the Shrine Bowl. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it as always, man.
Yeah, glad to.
There's Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. They do a great job. I've talked about it, that the draft guide that they have is one of my go-tos, and they'll be there at the Shrine Bowl interviewing different people, local people that'll be there, local players from local schools that'll be there participating in the East-West Shrine Bowl down in Dallas. So good stuff from Kent Swanson there. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. And it's one of the things that we were going to talk about in the first hour, but I want to talk about it now on the other side. And that is what the hiring of Chad O'Shea has shown and given us more evidence of the conversation we had with Matt Derrick last Friday of what the Chiefs were unable to do in years past. We'll talk about what that means next. Hey, men, if you're out there and suffering from erectile dysfunction, you know that it can cause major issues. Well, it is the new year, so if you've made some resolutions, maybe you've made the resolution to go and get this thing checked out, and you just haven't got around to doing it yet. Don't worry about all of that stuff. Heartland Men's Health is where you can go to know that there is a comfort to everything. Men's health is what they do. It is their career. It is their life. It's what they have dedicated to, the research, the new ways of treating men. All of those things are there at Heartland Men's Health. They have treatments with success rates well over 90%. Maybe you've tried the pills or the herbals. Those have failed. Well, they have treatments that work when that happens. They have been successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. Just simply go there, figure it out, and then see what they can offer. Schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit, it's $99. That includes that medical consult with a licensed medical provider, and then a T and PSA test. And if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, the visit's free. If it does, there you go. They've got an expert staff with 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today, 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. All right, thank you, Ken Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. I like how we talked at the first part of that about him being in Dallas, and then me ending it by saying, hey, man, you're going to make sure you go to Costco and stock up before, the storm this weekend here in KC. And he's like, well, man, I'm in Dallas. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. You're getting it worse. They're getting all ice and everything down there. And as we saw from the Super Bowl, Sterling, typically ice hitting the Dallas area, it's handled smoothly.
Yeah, typically.
Smoothly. There were no issues whatsoever during the Super Bowl down in Dallas when the rare ice storm hit that area.
I'm bummed.
Okay, good.
For a lot of reasons, and my stub of a broken ankle is a main reason because snow's fun. I don't like snow.
I don't know. Sometimes it can be snow fun too.
Ice sucks. Ice is no fun. You slip, you slide, you fall, you hurt yourself. Not a fan of that. Too slick for me. Snow, on the other hand, not all the time, but twice a year, on Christmas and one other time. I can dig it because
I have to.
I will bust the sled out.
Okay.
I'll go get a little bit of hot chocolate with a little something extra in that thing, a little peppermint schnapps.
Okay, there you go.
I'll go to go sledding and have some fun. My mom's gonna do it. My mom is nearly 70, and she's like, I already got the sled out. I can't wait to go. And I'm like, Ma, I'm sorry, Ma. My foot's broke. Ma, the meatloaf. My ankle's broken. I can't go sledding with you. So it's taken away from the family fun time. So that's why it's a bummer. Is I'm a big sled guy, and who knows? Sometimes when it's so much snow and people can't go, you get the Jeep out allegedly, and you hook up a rope to a sled allegedly, and you drive around, and you can kind of get swung around back there.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. You probably aren't going to do that in negative temperature. That's probably the point too.
Well, I know it's not going to be 70.
You're bummed about the ankle. I'd probably be bummed about the negative 10 feels like temperature to go sledding in.
That negative 10 air just hits your face and ugh.
Yeah, that's no bueno to go and go sledding in.
Hey,
I'm not looking forward to all the shoveling.
I hate the cold, but you're not out there that long, like 15 minutes.
It takes you 15 minutes to sled. Sometimes it takes 15 minutes to get there. What hill you going up and down?
Well, you go to Johnson County Library and you go down
15 minutes. What are you sliding down there twice?
No, well, I don't know. Well,
15
zero
minutes?
with my ankle. It's cold. I don't know.
15 minutes?
I don't need a long time.
Just slip
We've
and
heard
slide
that.
out of your front door.
Yeah, dude. It's going to
Or
be
your
fun.
stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do my stairs now. Michael,
Home
Darcy,
Alone.
that was pretty mean.
Yeah, dude. You're good at sliding
You're
down the stairs.
You're gonna bring this up right now?
Bad timing.
Seriously?
think it's
On the
good
bright
timing,
side,
actually.
if you can't
As
go
you're
anywhere,
staring at the broken stump of a
if you
leg?
can't go anywhere this weekend, you're probably not missing out.
Nobody's going anywhere anyway this weekend. So there you go. You don't have FOMO for anything going on this weekend because what you're doing is probably what everybody else is going to be doing, which is hunkering down and
At a bar with a
staying
golden tea.
I don't know that that's going to be heavily populated.
Well,
I'm
good.
not sure if
Why
it's,
would I not just go to a bar, hunker down, and play golden tea? That seems like the move.
Well, I think the way you would get there is by you being on the sled and somebody with a Jeep attaching that because you wouldn't be the one. You might as well ride on the sled since you can't do anything else with that foot. Anyway, it's I should probably remember the conversation I have with the guest that he's down in Texas, but they may be getting it worse with the ice. It is crazy that on Sunday the country is going to be covered with snow and ice and everything else, and yet Denver and Seattle are going to be perfectly fine. Now, Denver's going to have like a feels like temperature of 20 degrees.
Yeah.
Woo! I'll tell you what, Denver on January 25th or whatever, and it feels like 20 degrees outside, I think you would take that
I'd take that.
for a football game. Absolutely. What's kind of fascinating is Mother Nature thinking the Chiefs are in the playoffs. Because during the week, the last couple of weeks, it's been like 40 degrees and nice.
Yeah.
Then the weekend hits and it's like, boom, feels like -2. Hey, the Chiefs aren't playing this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Back to 40. Boom. -10 feels like, and here's 10 inches of snow. Again, the Chiefs aren't playing this weekend, okay? I know you like to mess with people doing that. They're old Mother Nature, but, come on, man, they're not playing. Let's keep it, you know what, for once, let's do some 40 degrees on the weekend.
Yeah, it feels like it's always been on Mondays or Wednesdays, which are days I can't golf, and that's been my bummer. I know
I hate that for you.
It's a huge thing. One of the bigger issues I think plaguing our society right now is that the weather's been nice on Mondays and Wednesdays, which screws my golf game up. So
I'll tell you what, man. At least we have enough planning to where parents out there can get ready for the snow days on Monday and Tuesday. It ain't going to be a surprise where you wake up and go, "Oh no, it's a snow." I think this is one of those to where when Monday morning,
I can't wait for no snow to happen, and it's all going to be. This happens once a year, where it's like it's going to be Snowmageddon, and then you get a nice dusting.
I do like the Snowmageddon though. It's fun. It's a fun name, you know. So yeah, Monday morning the actual temperature is going to be -8.
The older you get, the more...
That's the actual, not the feels like.
The older I get, the more I go, I will believe it when I see it, the snow. When I was a child, I was like, it is going to be a frolicking fun of snow, and then you get a dusting. I go, I can't even make a snowball with this to hit the weather guy.
Yeah. I did like the description that Gary Lezak gave this morning because I don't know the intricacies of the snow. And he said the colder that it is, the fluffier the snow becomes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, like, it could be like 1 inch of rain could be like, I don't know, I don't remember what he said, like 4 or 5 inches of snow. But the colder it gets, 1 inch of rain could be like up to like 7 or 8 or 9 inches.
That's a grower.
Right, absolutely. Because it's fluffier. So
it's a grower, not a snower.
So we'll have what you would guess would be a fluffier type of weather event this weekend. Okay, so anyway, Chad O'Shea, right? Am I right?
Not fluffy.
Chad O'Shea, am I right? Take my wife.
He's going to grow this offense.
No, really, take my wife.
He's going to grow this offense and show why the Chiefs brought him in.
Chiefs are going to get back to fluffy offense. God, it's so stupid.
Because last year was hard.
Yes. So anyway, I tweeted out last night because people had asked about, and I think it's a legit question, about why Chad O'Shea is the wide receiver coach for the Chiefs and not the wide receiver coach, passing game coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. Because Tommy Rees got hired in Atlanta with Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
He was the OC in Cleveland with Kevin Stefanski. So why didn't Chad O'Shea go to Atlanta? The news came out that the Chiefs hired Chad O'Shea on like Tuesday, right? Well, Stefanski got the job on Saturday, so we would have a few days for Stefanski to bring Chad O'Shea down there. So, legitimate question. Absolutely. If it's like, it's such a great hire, then why wouldn't the guy that already had him bring him along? Okay. So, I also was wondering the same thing. So, trying to dig and find out information about that and connections that were there randomly, being a very small world with a couple of different avenues. What I discovered was that right after the season was over and they let go of Connor Embry, Chad O'Shea was one of the guys they wanted to talk with, was one of the guys they had pinpointed to bring in as the wide receiver coach, and with Kevin Stefanski. Chad O'Shea and Kevin Stefanski, with Kevin Stefanski in his offense. So they brought him in, and in the interview and talking with other people, he was the guy they wanted to hire. So they offered him the job. The job is yours, Chad. But we aren't going to wait around for you to see if Stefanski gets a job. He may get a job, he may not. But you've got an opportunity with the Chiefs right now to be the wide receivers coach, as Jeremy Fowler said yesterday, working with Joe Blameyer on the passing part of it, and Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback. You've got the opportunity right now to work here to full circle when you started your career as a volunteer assistant and then an assistant special teams coach back in the 2000 aughts with Dick Vermeil, and now full circle returning to Kansas City. The job is yours right now. But we need an answer because the hiring cycle is going on, and we're not going to sit around and wait for other coaches to be hired at different spots, hiring their OCs and wide receivers coaches and those assistant coaches being filled out, and we have to go to number 2 or number 3 or number 4. You're the guy. Here's the job. Take it or leave it. Knowing there was still a chance that Stefanski could get a job. No guarantee, but still a chance that Stefanski could get a job. He chose to accept the job with the Kansas City Chiefs. So the answer is, why didn't Stefanski take Chad O'Shea there? Is that Stefanski would have done that, but the Chiefs had already hired him. The news didn't come out until Tuesday.
Sure.
But they didn't hire him on Tuesday. It was last week. It was before Stefanski got the job in Atlanta. He had the job. He was the wide receiver coach. He was one of the main guys that they pinpointed and said, this is the guy we want to go after.
And it wasn't a college quarterback who accepted and signed the contract and then left.
Yeah.
And then had to get sued to come back.
Right.
It wasn't a college quarterback.
It wasn't one of those things.
Yeah.
It wasn't that at all. But the point it brings up to me is not only like, okay, well, Stefanski didn't want to bring him around and didn't think he was doing a good enough job, so he's heading to Atlanta. He wants a fresh start, but he's going to bring his OC, but not that guy. What it signals to me is what we brought up with Matt Derrick on Friday, and that was, would the Chiefs have made a move, either Pinkston or Embry, last year if they weren't playing the final game of the year for 3 consecutive years, or the second to last game of the year for 7 consecutive years? Because if the Chiefs were still playing this weekend, you know who they wouldn't be able to hire as wide receiver coach? Chad O'Shea, because he would be the Falcons' wide receiver and passing game coordinator coach.
Sure.
So when we talk about, well, yeah, but you've got these assistant coaches that Andy just goes and grabs because he knows them. Well, it could be familiarity, because that kind of is what's left with some of these guys after the Super Bowl is over, because you're seeing this hiring cycle, which is why the Chiefs said to Chad O'Shea, take the job or leave it. We need a decision right now.
This is one of the few times,
because we got to move on.
First time in 8 years.
Because if you don't take it, we got to go find the next wide receiver coach before he ends up with, Mike McDaniel in L.A. or whoever gets hired in Baltimore or Buffalo or whoever. We got to find the guy. You're the guy. Take it or leave it. You take it, great. We can move on to other things.
You're right. I mean, it's something that I haven't considered a ton, but it makes a lot of sense. They haven't had a lot of turnover to begin with in the coaching staff, so it hasn't been super prevalent or even a main story. But at the same time, you're right. They're probably getting their 4th or 5th choice more often than not, because the first through 4 choices have already been picked up by teams that went 4-12, 4-13, right? So yeah, I think there's an interesting aspect to be said there. And again, that would be alluding to the familiarity part, where it's along the lines of, well, at least we know what he brings. We don't know if he's our guy, but he's in the same category as another lump of guys. It's a bucket of people we're choosing from, and at least we know him, and we know he's a good guy, so let's bring him back. So I think there is something to that, which, again, makes the Bieniemy thing a little more interesting, which this shows that this wasn't just we had to bring him back because this was our only option. This was, again, shows that this is maybe their first choice.
Wheels were in motion for a couple of weeks, and Chad O'Shea has no connection with Andy Reid over the years.
Yeah.
They didn't cross paths. This is as outside. Now, people wanted that for an offensive coordinator. I get it. But you're bringing in 2 different offensive systems that they have worked with. We'll find out if it works or not. I mean, you can hate the hiring, love the hiring, be whelmed by the moves that they made with the assistant coaches and coordinator. We'll all find out in real time if it's working or not. And if it doesn't work, then that's going to be on Andy Reid. And he's going to have to figure out, and Clark Hunt's going to have to figure out, if this is something to where Andy Reid just kind of got to the, what I do works. We had a bad year, but I can get the band back together and we can recreate what we did from 2018 to 22 offensively with Eric Bieniemy. We can do that again. Okay, it didn't work. Why? Well, because everybody's adjusting and we are not. Okay, so if it doesn't work, then that's going to be a knock on Andy Reid. I don't know that it signals he should be fired, but it could signal the beginning of the end. Sure. If it doesn't work with Eric Bieniemy, if the offense continues to stagnate, if the wide receivers continue to struggle, if the running game has not improved, if it doesn't look like there's any dynamism to the offense, if it looks like there is a predictability to the offense still, if those things happen again next year, well, then, yeah, there's a real issue moving forward if Andy Reid is the one to continue coaching Patrick Mahomes over the next 5, 6, 7, hopefully 15 years because he wants to play till he's 45.
I will say, when you look at the wide receiver room in particular, you needed a veteran. You needed a guy who can command that room. Fair or not, it's going to be Rashee Rice has had issues, not just on the field but off as well. You want a veteran who can maybe have some more experience with certain players who in the past maybe you had to deal with, and maybe we don't know. Maybe some guys were had stuff off the field, but Chad was able to help in that regard. We'll find out. But you needed a veteran. You needed a guy like Chad O'Shea, who's been a NFL coach for 20 plus years. You saw the regression of Xavier Worthy. Why? Can a guy who's been doing this for 20 plus years help figure out why he regressed? Jalen Royals, young guy. Can he maybe tap into why teams felt like, at least media, were surprised he fell to the fourth round when a lot of the grades on Jalen Royals were higher? Can he tap into what I think made him so excitable for Chiefs fans when they landed him? And then again, you'll have some veterans. I don't know if they're going to draft another guy. I don't know if Juju's coming back. I don't think Hollywood's coming back, but we'll see. I just like the veteran aspect of Chad O'Shea more than I think anything else.
Yeah, and hearing Garrett Dieter this morning, I thought it was interesting talking about, he was wide receiver and EB, offensive coordinator, but also a specialty with the running backs, that he was asked, different run-ins that they may have had or getting crossed with Eric Bieniemy, and Sherman brought up a story that he had, but then Garrett Dieter said, he caught the ball and he, instead of making a quick cut upfield, he sort of rounded it, and he was like, in the NFL, you can't round it. And just immediately Eric Bieniemy, get your ass upfield, And Garrett was like, I was in the wrong. I mean, I did it wrong. But even that little sort of thing in practice where he catches it and rounds instead of like immediately getting upfield was like, no, not good enough. Garrett Dieter, not good enough. You may be a practice squad player and play sparingly, but I'm not going to let you cut a corner because what if we need you? Then you're going to have to do it right. Everybody along the way, the stars, the guys down to the end of the roster, doesn't matter. Everybody has to do it the same way, or you're going to hear from them. You're going to get the earful from Eric Bieniemy. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. More Zone next.
An earful, okay, but I'm trying to make a pocketful this weekend, and that's with FanDuel, because they are turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day, so each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. So, you know me. I've been on a non-heater. Some call it a cold streak. But that's okay, because that means you can fade me. Or you can think, hey, maybe he'll get back right. We'll see. I am rolling with the Patriots over the Broncos. That line currently is around 4.5. It's going in the Broncos' favor, at least moving down a little bit with the Jarrett Stidham being the quarterback. And I think that's moving the wrong way. I like the Pats to win, and fairly handedly. And then Seahawks, Rams, Seattle 2.5-point favorites. I know they hammer the Niners. Give me the Rams. I'm just going to roll with the veteran Matt Stafford, as well as a guy who's been there, done that in Sean McVay. So that's what I'm rolling with. You can either fade me, follow me. It is your choice. And then you can apply your profit boosts and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day.
21 plus in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I wrap it up this hour. We will talk with Field Yates coming up at noon. We talked to him on Mondays, and we did talk to him this past Monday. But, doubling up this week with old Phil Yates. That's because when the Buffalo Bills have their press conference, you call Field Yates.
No, he's such a nice guy to.
Yeah, but
Very easy to set stuff up with. And he was like, guys, I'm missing last Monday because I was skiing with some family. And I was like, he goes, but I'll make it up for you. We'll do 2 in a week. And I go, Field, you're so generous.
yeah.
So
Generous
he went
guy.
skiing, didn't break his ankle. I did laundry, broke mine. So me and
makes
him,
sense.
tougher than me. Better milk bones.
What?
He must drink milk for his bones.
Field Yates next.
help you fantasy focus while he scoops the news. He's on TV more often than he's in bed. He'll break down the NFL without a single hair ever out of place. It's Field Yates of ESPN. Now in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Hour from now, we'll play a little Sports or Leisure, giving away $25 to Johnny's Tavern. Right now, let's talk with our NFL insider, Field Yates from ESPN, joining us here in the zone on a Thursday today. Field, what's up, brother? How are you, sir?
Jason, I am doing well. Like everybody else, we're getting geared up for a good football weekend, a good football Sunday, I should say, and then the craziness of the weather. I live in Connecticut, and we are bracing for a foot or maybe more of snow. So I'm glad it's on Sunday as opposed to like middle of the week, which might mean a full week of my kids being out of school. But we're geared up for whatever takes place.
Well, and the full expectation is like a foot and a half in Denver, right? Oh, wait, no, beautiful in Denver. Snowing everywhere
Go
else.
Figure, right? Go figure.
Just unbelievable. Well, you know, I can lie and say this was completely unscheduled, and we decided, you know what, the Bills press conference was so crazy, we got to get Field Yates on the show. Or there was somewhat of a schedule already with you. But let's talk about that. Is your takeaway the same as most everybody else's? It's just a wild press conference with the owner and GM president Brandon Beane, the post, end of season presser, and what we heard from Terry Pegula?
Wild. Wild is a good way of describing it. And I think that yesterday, it's pretty reasonable to state that it should have gone as follows, Jason. Brandon Beane is up there by himself. Brandon Beane is up there, and he begins the press conference by thanking Sean McDermott for, by every account, a remarkable run as the Bills head coach, one of the most successful in Bills history, a classy individual from start to finish. And then Brandon Beane would then take, and this is part of the job, a lot of difficult questions about the roster construction and some of the things that he has been responsible for. And by, the end of this week, most people would have moved on from it. As a matter of fact, people outside of Buffalo might be on from it by this morning. We might be talking about, hey, Jarrett Stidham is starting an AFC championship game this weekend. Instead, it's now become the talk of the NFL. And, I'm not trying to sound like everything that happens in the NFL, people immediately reach out to me and share their opinions. But yesterday was one of those examples where I had people from all over the NFL map saying, did you watch that? Can you believe what was just said? The Bills are a strong organization. They've been to the playoffs 7 straight years. They have a quarterback who just last year was the NFL MVP. He's a finalist this year. He won't win it. But Josh Allen alone makes you a competitor each and every year. But yesterday was damaging. It's not going to impact their coaching search. They're still going to get a good coach. They're not going to become a 7-win team next year because of yesterday. But there are so many things that take place that are out of your control that can be difficult to deal with as an organization, Jason, that the self-inflicted wounds, to me, are always the most painful because they're avoidable. And yesterday felt like a very unnecessary self-inflicted wound.
Mm-hmm. And it's sort of an aside, but also impactful, the unfortunate, tragic, events with Terry's wife, Kim. And now you sort of get an idea as to why she was the one that did these press conferences instead of him. Would make, total sense. You mentioned the job and the coaching search is, it's not going to limit those candidates. I do wonder, because you're working with Josh Allen, so there are certainly some things you can put up with and deal with because I get to work with Josh Allen. I don't know if it makes it more or less enticing for a potential candidate because you've got that sort of dynamic above you. I'm watching it, Field, and what seems like the most simple conclusion to me, I'm watching him going, well, Brian Daboll's the next head coach because who wants to work with that sort of circus that doesn't already have a connection to that circus and understand sort of the culture around the area as well, and has also worked with Josh Allen. Josh Allen likes him. I'm like, I think hearing this, Brian Daboll is the next head coach.
Yeah, I think it's, and I don't know this definitively, and I don't know that I feel as influenced by yesterday as perhaps you do, but I do think the Bills' next head coach will come from the orbit. And the orbit could be Brian Daboll, it could be Joe Brady, their current offensive coordinator, at least for now. It could be Davis Webb, who was on the team just a couple of years ago as a third-string quarterback, but as we know now is, he's 30 years old or will be 31 very soon. Interviewing for head coaching jobs around the NFL, has been very well regarded during his time with the Broncos on their coaching staff. So I do think it's fair to presume that the Bills hire will be not necessarily exactly internal, but essentially internal, somebody who has been a part of the organization presently or in the past. And I would say that this job it's going to have appeal. There's some things you got to work through, but every job has some level. There's some work with every job, right? I do think it will be interesting. The only other thing that I would say, Jason, that I forgot to mention when I was talking about how I thought the press conference should unfold is I was surprised that the Bills decided to announce Brandon Beane's promotion as they announced Sean McDermott's dismissal. I thought that was the second thing they did this week that probably created unnecessary distractions for the organization. It caused discourse, right? I mean, you and I are all, everybody's saying, well, why would you promote the GM? I mean, it's fine to keep him, right? Like, we've seen teams, A, keep a GM, and B, make a difficult decision at head coach, sometimes at the same time, and you move on, but it just feels sort of like, obviously something went amiss, or else there wouldn't have been a coaching change. It felt like the wrong time to announce that Brandon Beane had been promoted as well. You can make the promotion. I think there's no harm in doing that. You can also make the promotion and tell them. You can update your website. You can announce it after the draft. There's no rule that says, hey, the second you decide on something, you have to make it public in that sector of football business. So I was surprised by a couple of things. I would say not exactly a sterling 72-plus hours from the Bills in handling what was difficult, but like an understandable decision. If it had just been Sean McDermott's been dismissed, we believe that we have to make a change. We're trying to reach for a different goal, and we appreciate Sean's contributions. All of us would probably be moved on from it, right? This happened in Baltimore a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Like, these things do take place in the NFL. It just feels like it's not necessarily the what, it's the how that has been the bigger issue for Buffalo.
A couple of quick ones on this, and then I want to move on. But would it be out of the ordinary or seen as sort of uncouth to let coaching candidates know before the Bills and Broncos game that, hey, if we were to lose this game, McDermott would be up. Don't make decisions that your candidate may, work with Josh Allen. Would that go outside of the realm of what would be, deemed acceptable in general practice with coaching searches? Or is that something that maybe the Bills could have done or tested the waters on certain candidates to see if Josh Allen was enticing enough if they were to move on from Sean McDermott?
A lot of people wondering that in the vein of John Harbaugh specifically, right, who ended up taking the Giants job. Yep. I can't say that I have, through my own experience, heard, hey, the Bills are putting the feelers out. I would say, here's what I would say, and this is just my opinion. It's not facts, it's just an opinion here, is that the responsibility of the person who represents the head coach, the agent for the coach, is to have relationships that are deep-rooted throughout the NFL and to have a good understanding of the landscape. It's also his responsibility to communicate with his client, hey, we don't know this for a fact, but I can take the temperature, and if there's a chance that, would you like to wait this out? Now, the old bird in hand beats two in the bush definitely applies here, right? Because if the Bills do win that game last Saturday, the game went to overtime, right? They could have, they were up 4 with 4 minutes to go. Maybe they do win that game. Is John Harbaugh saying, well, the Giants are looking to move and hire somebody else. So, you kind of, it's hard to have your cake and eat it too when things are as delicate as they can be in the coaching cycle. My general guess would be that, yes, a team through back channels can probably, if it is so inclined, make a message, strong or subtle, that just a heads up, we might have a change. And if your guy that might be of interest to us is willing to be patient, then there's a chance something opens up. I don't know that specifically, but I given how free agency works and how the drafts can work sometimes and how so many other things around the NFL can work, I think it'd be naive to assume that there's no level of suggestion from teams. There's a possibility of a change.
Yeah. Also, I think that's the first time I've used uncouth in 4 or 5 years. So that was fun. Field Yates from ESPN is our guest. There's so many different sound bites that people have played, but the one last thing that I want to ask you about here is Terry Pegula said that Josh Allen had no input on the decision to fire Sean McDermott. and this is not lobbying for, well, the quarterback should make the decision. I do wonder how much, Field, you would feel that a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, players of that caliber, maybe Joe Burrow, would have some sort of, not necessarily input, but information before it happens or as it's happening, that this is the route, the decision we're going to go. I wanted you to be aware of this before it became public. Maybe the no input to me isn't really surprising, maybe, other than, well, he found out after we did it, and we told him once Sean McDermott was fired. Is there a level of status that a quarterback can reach that there would be some communication there, maybe even, picking your brain as to what you think of this?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that if and this is such a wild scenario given how successful they've been, but if things ever turn for the worse and Kansas City was mired in a 3-year stretch of not winning a playoff game, or I'm just trying to think of what could cause change. I don't think Patrick Mahomes would be left out in the dark here. And so I don't know this for a fact, obviously, but, Terry Pegula says they didn't speak to Josh Allen. I would imagine that he had a sense of where Josh and Sean McDermott's relationship was. I think spend enough time around people, you probably can gather that, right? And that's an important part of the calculus, right? I don't think this move alienated Josh Allen by any stretch, right? If it did, we'd probably know, and it'd probably be a much bigger story by now, right? So it's a delicate, fine line that you are walking when you're trying to make a decision on the head coach and you are the boss, but you also want to make sure that the most important power players are abreast of the decision. So I think you have to kind of do the whole measure several times and cut once and take all the input you can, but you have to make the decision based off of what you, the owner, fundamentally believes is correct, because things can change so fast in the NFL, and you have to just be willing to sort of roll with the potential punches you might take. In the case of Terry Pegula, I actually think the decision is understandable. I'm not necessarily shocked that Sean McDermott was dismissed. This goes back to, once again, and my colleague Jeff Darlington said this well yesterday on NFL Live. He said, the Bills, you can either go the strategic route or the emotional route when you're breaking down the why behind the Sean McDermott firing in a press conference. And the Bills, Terry Pegula, to be very clear, went the emotional route as opposed to the strategic route. And you came up there and if he just said, we thank him for his contributions, we felt like we needed a change, I think a lot of us would be talking about things besides the Bills today.
By the way, Field, it might have been like a slip, but how have we not called him Josh Alien at this yet to this
Good
point?
call.
How is that not his nickname? I mean, it would be an appropriate nickname. People have very alien moments because it's still surprising. He does some of the stuff that he does. These rare quarterbacks at the top of the food chain are a different breed, that's for sure. Field Yates from ESPN. Mike McDaniel choosing the Chargers. I'm sick and tired of the teams in the AFC West figuring things out and getting smarter. It gets tougher. Mike McDaniel was like the number one choice for a lot of people around here, although unlikely because he wasn't going to be calling plays. What can he do for that Chargers offense? Mike McDaniel now getting a quarterback that's not Jimmy Garoppolo or Tua Tagovailoa?
Yeah, it's Jason. I almost think of it as the ingredients. There may not be all the ingredients yet in Los Angeles, but you had a decent amount of them. And previously, it was like you had all these ingredients and you made oatmeal. And now it's like you have all these ingredients and you can make some much more intricate dish than oatmeal, right? It just feels like this was a very bland, vanilla, predictable offense. Under Greg Roman, who's been in the NFL for a long time, Greg Roman's also won a lot of football games, but a lot of what Greg Roman has done has been similar from year over year over year between his time in San Francisco, Baltimore, and now Los Angeles. So I do think this is an opportunity for the Chargers offense to level up pretty dramatically. Justin Herbert is a very, very talented quarterback. This will be good for him. The running game will get a big boost. But you just go look at the numbers here, and obviously Tyreek Hill was an all-world receiver with Kansas City. But I want to say his two best seasons in terms of receiving yardage came in Miami. Back-to-back years, I believe he had the most receiving yards of any player in the NFL. Or at the very least, you can say that Tyreek Hill left Kansas City and playing with Patrick Mahomes, and yes, that's a indeed fact. I looked it up quickly. His most receiving yards in the season, his first 2 years in Miami, right? So, he got an extra game, obviously, to work with as well, but he was terrific, right? So we saw Mike McDaniel maximize talented players, whether it was Raheem Mostert, whether it was Devon Achane, whether it was Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa, most notably. Those guys had their best statistical seasons under his watch. So this Chargers offense should be much better, much more difficult to defend week in and week out. I think the personality match will be interesting here. These two, Mike McDaniel and Jim Harbaugh, are very, very different. Sometimes that can be a very, very good thing for coaches to experience.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. Obviously during good times, it's probably going to be fun and quirky. If things aren't going well, we'll see how it works out. But I would say my optimism is pretty strong right now at the initial outset of this hire.
Field Yates from ESPN. Last one for you. Chad O'Shea from the Cleveland Browns, now the new wide receivers coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm guessing we'll be doing some things with the passing game with Joe Blameyer, a guy with a ton of experience, going from someone in Connor Embry who, his first actual position job was the wide receivers coach, and a young guy, and now very, very experienced. The Chiefs in general bring back Eric Bieniemy, which the name is what has a lot of people sort of having their opinion one way or another, but he spent a year with Ben Johnson. Now they bring in Chad O'Shea, who was the passing game coordinator for Kevin Stefanski. This feels like what a lot of fans were asking for, right? Can Andy Reid maybe branch outside of his own tree and bring in different guys from different systems to sort of evolve or upgrade, update, whatever it might be? It's interesting, the reaction from some Chiefs fans that are underwhelmed, when I feel like, it's exactly those two positions are what people have been wanting, and you get Ben Johnson that's different from Andy Reid's system, and Stefanski that's different from Andy Reid's system, and you get two guys in there, one heavy running, the other heavy passing, and now let's get all together in a room and get this thing rolling.
Yeah, and I understand the job is not just to appease the players, but, look at the comments since Eric Bieniemy was brought back. Look at the social media posts. Travis Kelce on his podcast, right? Obviously the guys are very excited about Eric Bieniemy. Chad O'Shea is going to bring a lot of experience. You mentioned that. He's been an offensive coordinator. He's done a lot of different things within an offense. I think it's a smart decision to bring him aboard. The Chiefs have had some success bringing people from the outside in the past. Brendan Daly has sort of a pretty strong hand in the front seven for Kansas City. He came over from England. I think at one point he went to 10 straight Super Bowls as a coach. It's been a real value add for them to have somebody who sees things a little bit different than what you are used to and accustomed to. So I would say that the most interesting wrinkle for me out of all this is I don't exactly know what Matt Nagy does from here. I know his contract is set to expire soon, but I think, we can safely assume his days with Kansas City are over. But the Chiefs' overhauled coaching staff, I think that some of the things they have accomplished so far are net positives in the very early portions of this offseason.
Field Yates from ESPN. Field, we already got your prediction on Monday. You had New England and Seattle. You staying with that a few days later?
Yeah, no need to change right now. So, it's going to be tough for both teams. The Rams and Seahawks have played ridiculously close games. The Patriots going on the road and playing against an excellent defense. Of note, the only team to go either undefeated at home or on the road this year is New England. So we'll see whether they can keep that regular season unblemished mark intact on Sunday. Seattle, I just think that the dominance in all three phases is real. The special teams unit has been, was game-changing in their divisional round matchup, and they're just rock solid on both sides of the ball, and especially excellent defensively.
Field Yates from ESPN. Field, you're the man. Appreciate it as always, brother. Enjoy the football this week. Stay hunkered down this weekend as well, and hopefully we get out of this storm with as minimal damage as possible. Thank you, sir.
No doubt about it, man. A lot of snow forthcoming.
Field Yates from ESPN joining us, breaking down what went on yesterday in Buffalo and the news around here, certainly of the week. Talk to him on Monday and get him again today as well. We'll take a time out, come back, continue rolling Sports or Leisure, 1 o'clock. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you to Field Yates joining us in that segment. Second time this week, but appreciate our NFL insider from ESPN talking about the things that we heard in Buffalo, the comic relief of the entire thing. But also, I mean, he slipped up when he said Josh Allen. And by the way, why hasn't that been the nickname for him all along? It just seems like it's so obvious, so easy, such an easy connection of Josh Allen. It's just Josh Allen. Anyway, the job still enticing, according to Field Yates. Still the same level of candidate that they'll be receiving interest from, and that they could, reach out to. I still think it's going to be Brian Daboll.
The LSU, I think, comment just very. I mean, again, it was one where you go, does it make the job less appealing? Does this change? And they still got their guy. We need a chance to, coach Josh Allen. That's going to outweigh the Raiders or the Giants or the Browns, or like you're going to want to still, even with some of maybe the slight dysfunction, it sure looks like most teams in the NFL have dysfunction.
You think this is a slight dysfunction? What are you talking about?
Brandon, at the trade deadline, you said that you felt the team had a championship roster. What, in your mind, led to the group falling short of that?
I mean, Jay. A bad call.
He was actually going to answer that
thoughtfully. And
give an actual answer to that. A bad call. It's the only reason we lost.
He's like the dumbasses we make fun of on sad fans who only complain about the refs.
Bad call.
Imagine if like a dumbass from sad fans for those opposing teams became the owner of a football team. That apparently is Terry Pagula. That's what you're looking at as a sad fan.
Yeah, he is. He came off that way for sure. All the failures in the postseason, the 13 seconds, the missed field goals, the catch.
Bad call.
Bad call. That's why.
Honestly, keep that and put that in a hotkey. After a Chiefs game, whenever we get calls from someone and we don't like the call, it's just bad call. Like that, I feel like that should be any time.
It's like the opposite of Rackham.
Bad call.
The opposite of Rackham is just
or
bad call.
I got one better, Michael. I got one better. The day after Sterling puts a stamp on something.
We're going to get a lot of use
How'd that work out for you, Sterling?
Bad call.
Yeah, I think that's
fact or fiction. Was that not
bad call?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, nice call there, guy. Way to go with that.
See, it makes sense. This is going to be used a lot.
For sure.
Thanks, Terry.
I know. Thank you to Field Yates joining us here in the zone on this Thursday. We'll play some sports or leisure coming up at 1 o'clock. Obviously, we've talked a lot about the NFL today through the first couple of hours with the guests that we've had on. But there's some news in college basketball that, we talked about in the first segment of previewing some of the things we were going to discuss, and that I am not a slippery slope, Pandora's box type guy that anything that happens or something controversial that happens and a change, it's like, well, there's a slippery slope. You've opened up Pandora's box. We're all screwed. This, though, I do feel like has the potential to do that. Tuscaloosa County judge ordered an injunction for Charles Bediako for Alabama to play immediately. He was attempting to gain eligibility in college after playing in the G League as early or as recently as last Saturday. Oddly enough, they played in Alabama. His G League team played a team in Alabama, and I guess he decided just to stay there. So he tried to get approval to return to college. The NCAA said, no, you've signed an NBA contract. We have said that was the difference between Najee and Baylor. He didn't sign an NBA contract. You have signed an NBA contract. You cannot play. They then appealed to the courts. And the judge in Tuscaloosa said, no, he's deemed immediately ineligible. Gave him a 10-day window that he can play. So last Saturday, he was a G League player. And this Saturday, he's playing against Tennessee, an SEC player. G League to the SEC. And again, I am not a, slippery slope, da, da, da. But to me, this creates at least an area. It creates an untapped exploitation of the rules that we know coaches will try to find, because this was somebody that, you can't get approval for him because he's already signed an NBA contract.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's bring him in. The NCAA says no. Okay, let's sue. Let's see if we can get an injunction to where he can play right away while they figure it out.
And also,
In
how can
our
you...
city,
Yes,
by the way.
yes.
That was kind of my question is, what? You're just going to your city in Alabama, Tuscaloosa, and then the judge, this seems corrupt as bleep.
But here's the loophole that I do worry if this is a slippery slope, a Pandora's box. We know college basketball coaches are willing to push the envelope. Like, the college basketball coaches come out and, like, they're so against what Scott Drew did. But they blame the NCAA, not the kid, and the coach is doing that, and it's a part of the rules. Jerome Tang, I would love to get somebody that we, tick off the rest of college basketball. Hey, if there's a player available, yeah, we'd love to bring that guy in.
Michael Beasley, he's in the big three. Let's bring him back.
Still have anything left? But here's what potentially you could do. If you bring somebody back to your school and the NCAA says, no, we're not going to grant him eligibility, he has exhausted his eligibility, and you get a lawyer to sue the NCAA or appeal to a court that grants you temporary eligibility, all you need is through the end of the season. Because the NCAA, while it's within their rules, it was a court of law that said that person can play. Can you retroactively go back and then, give up those games, forfeit those games, or what's the terminology I'm looking for?
Ineligible, or
no, when you
Disqualify?
no, when you have to give up
Vacate?
Vacate, thank you. Vacate those wins. Also, who gives a bleep if they vacate wins? I mean, they vacated the 2013 National Championship. Who cares? Vacated the 2018 Final Four. Who cares? Those
Who won
teams
that
went there and
Heisman?
played. Right. Who cares about those things? And I don't know that coaches really care about that, because, you vacated those wins in the NCAA tournament. Oh, really? Because I got a contract extension out of it, so that's pretty cool.
I think you care if you're a historical coach and it takes away wins when it could put you from the third most wins or second most wins.
Well, if you're that coach, then yes. But if you're a coach that's trying to get your team to the tournament, if you're Jerome Tang, if
does
you're
not
Dennis
matter.
Gates,
Yes,
a coach like that,
do it.
Oh, you're going to vacate my wins in the NCAA tournament? That's fine. I got the contract extension out of it, and we went. All you need is a temporary ruling by a judge, apparently in your county, to say that person's eligible until the end of the season, and they can play right away. And then, now we'll let the courts go and figure it out. Because if there's one thing we know about coaches, they will continue to push the envelope to find where's the finish line.
Dude.
Because Nate Oates said, the guy signed an NBA contract, he's deemed ineligible. Well, let's test the theory. Let's bring this guy in who played for us, a couple of years ago and was drafted and signed an NBA contract.
From the courts to the court.
Yeah, I mean, and so he's granted a 10-day, but then does that then get extended?
It's like an NBA 10-day contract. He basically signed an NBA 10-day contract, which, by the way, his initial complaint is asinine.
Yeah.
This is absurd. The fact that it didn't get ripped up and thrown out right away is beyond me.
Well, I think
his complaint was, if he would have known that revenue sharing and NIL opportunities would be available to him in the future, no bleep. You think Reggie Bush? Well, you know what? I wouldn't have left for the NFL. Trent Richardson? Come back. Didn't work out. He goes, I cited injuries and struggles to find a spot at the next level. Yeah, like 99% of dudes that try and go pro. That's the whole point. You think Greg Oden, all of a sudden he gets injured and buns in the NBA, goes, I'm going to go back to college now. I make more money. You're not special. This is absurd. Why are you bending over backwards, NCAA, for a guy that averaged 6 and 5?
They're not bending over backwards. They're fighting it. It's the courts in Tuscaloosa.
God, all this for a dude that averaged 6 and 5 in college? What are we doing here?
But what we
Check Diallo, come back.
But what we know is that coaches will find ways to continue to put, if this was approved, let me try this. Okay, this was approved, let me take it a step further. And that's what we're seeing now. So the Pandora's box to me and the slippery slope to me is coaches seeing this and going, that guy's been given an opportunity to play right away, even though he signed an NBA contract and he was in the G League as recently as this week. Missouri, hey, Demoy Hodge.
Sure.
You're playing in the G League right now. Would you like to come back and be an amazing SEC defensive player and knock down threes for Mizzou to try to get them to the NCAA tournament?
What's Cassius Robinson up to?
Yeah. Marquise Noel, Keontae Johnson. Would you like to help Jerome Tang keep his job and get back to the NCAA tournament? All you need is a judge in Manhattan to say, no, we'll grant them temporary eligibility for now while we fight this out in the courts later with the NCAA. But for now, we can't restrict trade. We can't restrict the free trade for you because of this. So you are able to play right away because you should not be limited from your earning potential based on an arbitrary rule that is not a law. So we are going to grant you the opportunity to play. That's what's happened in Alabama right now. I guarantee if you're a coach and you're not looking around to try to go and see if there's a guy that, bring back or grab to help you in this stretch run to make the tournament, that to me is now the slippery slope or the Pandora's box, this. And the issue and how we got here, the NCAA is to blame for this because they spent years and years and millions and millions and millions of dollars to try to get one-sided legislation to allow nothing for the players. They spent millions of dollars fighting NIL constantly, every single turn, fighting against it, not trying to work to what's a common solution to this. Okay? Players can earn their value. They should be compensated for their name, image, and likeness in video games, which is what sort of started the whole thing, but also not just limited to that. Players are earning things for colleges, and they are bringing in more than what they're getting in return. They should get their fair market value. NCAA, every step along the way, was no, I'm fighting it, I'm fighting it, I'm fighting it, I'm fighting it. They spent so many dollars and years instead of finding a solution that we could be in a spot right now where there would be guardrails that could be agreed upon by players, could be agreed upon by schools, could be agreed upon by presidents and ADs, and maybe, Congress.
You used to not even be able to, you put your name in, sorry, you can't come back. Now you can sign an NBA contract and come back.
Well, and also the NCAA, what they should probably focus on immediately, instead of trying to get Congress to protect them and allow them to sort of just say these players can't make money, trying to get such a one-sided bill passed, work smaller, and can you get something passed nationally that essentially protects eligibility rules for the NCAA? That the NCAA's eligibility rules, these are sort of the governing body of this, and if you want to play at that level, these are the rules you will have to abide by. You can't sue. It doesn't restrict trade. I don't know how much that would be easily fought, but is there a more specific and not necessarily the shotgun approach, but the very specific threading of a needle to where we can stop this from being fought in the courts while a player is allowed to play that was on an NBA contract and was playing in the G League and now is playing in the SEC or the Big 12 or anywhere else? Because this guy ain't the last one that coaches are going to be contacting to come in and see, hey, we got some NIL money for you. You're going to make more the last month and a half than you're going to make in the G League this year.
So Demoy Hodge played 7 games in the NBA for the Lakers. Played 7 games. Try it. What's the cutoff? Hey, well, I didn't play 10 games. I didn't even get a 10-day contract. I played 7 games. Is that enough? It's not enough to, seriously, what is the cutoff? It just keeps getting farther and farther and farther down. I only played 1 year. I was only a 3-year NBA vet. Come on. I know I'm 37 and retired from the NBA and had a long career, but can I come back? LeBron still has college eligibility, right? He didn't go to college.
I'm trying to get my master's.
He can go back and play.
It's a great point, yeah.
Dude, it's just...
Why wouldn't Dennis Gates call LeBron?
I mean,
that's just smart.
This really is becoming just the G League. It's no longer becoming college, which it really hasn't been professional sports for a while, but it's no longer even the facade of it. This is now a developmental league. Because you're very rarely seeing freshmen. No one's, unless you are a top 5 freshman, top 10 freshman, you're probably not playing. You're not even really getting recruited. Why recruit this 18-year-old, 17-year-old when I can get a 23-year-old who is going to be bigger, stronger, faster?
And has developed in college and also in the G League.
And so now you're seeing college just become 23-year-olds who aren't even going to college. It's the Cardell Jones? I didn't come to Ohio State to play school.
I didn't come to play school, yeah.
And they're not.
That's 12 gauge to you.
I just cannot believe that it has gone this far and that the NCAA is that scared of being sued that they are now allowing this.
Shout out to Adam Dravetta, who sent me this tweet. I didn't see this morning. It came out at about 10:30. Said, fun thing about the Bediaco injunction I just learned. Apologies if somebody else had this first. This is from a tweet that Adam sent me. Said, from the list of 6-figure donors to the Crimson Tide Foundation, the judge who granted the motion is a 6-figure donor to Alabama.
And that surprises anybody?
I mean
that does not surprise me at all.
I mean, there's Jesus, man. I mean, like you kind of have to recuse yourself, or you just don't give a bleep.
Yes,
he doesn't care.
There's a paper trail, apparently, allegedly.
And he's a 6-figure donor to Alabama, allegedly, and grants the injunction, the motion
for 10 days to at least play against Tennessee. He must hate Tennessee that much.
Well, that's what it is. It's a big win. You need that guy out there playing against Tennessee. But I'm honestly, this is dumb. But while the technicality is open, if you're a coach that's not exploring that, then you will get beat by other coaches that are exploring.
I know why he did it. Yeah, sure. They played Tennessee in 2 days. Guess who they play in 5?
Auburn.
Missouri.
This is
that
makes sense.
This is all to play and try and beat Missouri.
Telling you,
I get
Gates, Demoy Hodge. Go get Demoy Hodge.
He only played
right
7 games. How many did Jabari Brown play?
Jabari's still he's on an NBA roster right now.
No.
Yeah.
He hasn't played.
I'm thinking of Kobe, dude. I'm thinking of not Jabari.
Kobe Bryant. No, he's not.
Not Kobe Bryant. I wasn't thinking of Kobe Bryant.
He played 19 games in the 14-15
season. Of Kobe that played at Mizzou.
But if all you have to do
Kobe Brown
is get this player.
He's on an NBA roster right now. That's who I was thinking of. When you said Jabari Brown, I was thinking of Kobe Brown. And I'm like, well, he's on an NBA roster right now. Because Jabari Brown, that's a little, that was 11 years ago.
Yeah,
whatever.
but he was a stud.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? I mean, come on.
What's the cutoff?
Yeah. Sutherland's still out there. Can he play? You know what I mean?
Someone's going to push it. Like, I mean, like, really, like a 10-year vet is going to try to come back to school. Mario Chalmers kind of joked he's back trying to get his degree.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
Okay, you could use McCormick.
We probably got a little bit better players in the pool to pick from, but yeah, we could use McCormick.
Right now?
Backup.
I'm just talking about specifically right now. To get on the floor right now. Who could they use right now? I mean, you're not getting Grady Dick's playing. Brown's playing. Ochai's playing, so those would be out.
McCormick or Mitch Lightfoot, so yeah.
Yeah, you need somebody that can help there, K-State, go get Marquise Noel, Keontae Johnson. Those guys floating around in the G League.
This is just going to be the big 3. It's going to be the big 3 in college basketball.
It's basically what it is. It's just it's the basketball tournament where you get
TBT.
Yeah, it's a TBT, dude. This is just
the winner of the NCAA tournament gets $1 million each for their players.
That's the Vegas thing they do, right?
Yeah.
That's the
so they get
Vegas
the
tournament.
They get the NIL money too. I'm talking about individual players.
Yeah,
everybody on that roster, all 13 scholarship players.
This is absurd. But the second that Missouri gets Anthony Peeler, I'm going to be excited.
Dude, yes, go do that, man.
Keon Dooling's up too.
Great. You know what?
Getting a random foul called against him.
No, Missouri needs Ricardo Ratliff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
I mean, this is. I know we're kidding.
No, you know what? You know who they need? No, they need not Ricardo, Mike Anderson's nephew from Vanderbilt, 2008 team that went to the Elite
Michael
Eight.
Dixon?
No, the big man, the big guy.
Oh, the guy from UConn?
No, the guy from Vandy. Then went to be a 3-and-D guy in the NBA. Good God, man! How do I freaking? It's one of my. I mean,
Linus Kaleza, bring him back.
That was Quinn Snyder, dude. What are you talking about? Dang it.
Ricky Paulding.
Not Ricky Paulding. That was also Quinn. How do I freaking forget? I mean, he's one of... Stupid. I mean, this is an issue that I have. I must get the name.
If I'm being honest, you're right. This is dumb. I'm angry. I'm mad because I think this is stupid.
Thank you for filling while I find this out.
But if Missouri were to get a player, I'll talk myself into it because it's legal right now. Do I think it's dumb? Yeah, I think it's
Damari
absurd.
freaking Carroll, Jesus.
Well, you're
Jason.
talking about Damari Carroll? That was a long time ago.
I said Mike Anderson's
You said
nephew.
2018.
No, I said 2007, 2008. Damari Carroll.
I think it's 2018. Sorry.
I might have, but I'm dumb.
I was not
2007.
thinking. That's why I was being a joke.
Yeah,
And
it's like
you
Mike
said
Anderson.
2018 and 2008. Because I heard 2008, but I also heard 2018.
Yeah, so I heard 2018. Well, Damari
Years
Carroll,
are tough,
obviously.
but that's what I was I said Mike Anderson's nephew.
You could have said the junkyard dog.
From Vandy that transferred. They could use Damari Carroll on this team.
They could use a lot on this team.
Right, I know.
They could use a legit junkyard dog.
Yes. K-State could use some defenders, you know? Can they heal that
Jacob
relationship?
Pullen?
Heal that relationship with Tomlin?
I was just thinking about Pullen. Bring him back.
Pullen?
Yeah, dude. Tomlin, I mean, can you get that thing, that relationship healed quickly? It's absurd, but it's what coaches are going to be doing right now.
And don't be the last one to do it. I mean, honestly, you should, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it now because it'll probably be outlawed by next year.
Like,
This is
it
probably
might
your
be
one chance
outlawed
to do it.
in 2 weeks. You
Sure.
know, after the 10-day motion injunction. What's your function? Once that is done, then he may not be granted
Just keep
another
pushing
one.
it back.
Yeah,
Dude,
well,
I mean,
that's the thing is, can you get one to then let's send this to litigation in April or May?
He would decide that. The Alabama booster would decide
Yeah,
that.
let's send this, and we will meet about a ruling on this in May. Well, doesn't help you now. Well, it helps him, and it helps the school right now. Again, I'm not typically a slippery slope guy. I think this is different because we know college basketball coaches college coaches.
You're
just
already
in general.
slipping down the slope.
Yeah.
It's not a slippery slope that you go, oh, look over
Well, it
there.
started
It's
with
a
the G
slippery
League.
slope. It's like I'm on said
Yes.
slope that's slipping.
St. Mary's got one, Louisville got one, then Baylor gets one that's playing, and now Alabama's getting signing an NBA contract, G League player that goes from the G League on Saturday to play Tennessee the next Saturday. It is continually elevating the absurdity that we're seeing now. I'm telling you, Demoy Hodge, got to get that guy back. Damari Carroll, a Leo Lyons, a Damare Carroll, even a Michael Anderson Jr.,
What's happening? Are you skipping?
A Kimmy English.
Are you skipping over here?
No, Mike Anderson.
Ah, okay.
You never named an actual person. You just said a. You know, we got a guy like a Leo Lyons, like a JT Tiller, even a Michael Anderson Jr., a Damare Carroll, a Kim English.
I couldn't tell if it was like a Bill Self thing you were doing there.
I thought it was
or-
Bill Self.
I did too.
No. Man, you guys are so freaking young. You didn't go to Missouri during Mike Anderson, did you?
I
You
would
were
have
there
been
for
there.
Frank Haith?
Oh, dude,
You had faith in Haith while you were there?
we had Kim Anderson.
Good God, you're 5 years old.
Well, part of it. We had 2012 to 16, so the end of it was not great.
Night, man.
We had
Anyway.
Jordan Clarkson and Jabari Brown for a little bit.
Oh, okay, cool. Good for you. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. Well, men, if you're out there and you happen to be suffering from low testosterone, Heartland Men's Health can help. Maybe some college basketball coaches are suffering from low wins. I don't think Heartland Men's Health helps them. They can maybe go find players that are pro. You can work with the pros that deal with men's health, that's all they do, their life. It is looking at the best possible ways to help you live a healthier, holistic life. And low testosterone could be part of that. Guys in their early to mid-30s start losing 2 to 3% of their testosterone production every year. It happens gradually. Before you know it, you don't feel like the same man that you did in your 20s and your 30s. You could be putting on weight, less production in the gym, no motivation to go to the gym, poor sleep, waking up feeling tired, sad, depressed, libido, energy. All of those things could be related to low testosterone. Easy to find out what your level is. Just schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health. They'll do your lab work with you, have your results within 30 minutes, and then a licensed medical provider will review your results with you, discuss your options, help you make the decision together with the medical team. Cost of the appointment, it's $99. That includes medical consult, T, and PSA test. And if you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of your appointment, your visit, It's free. You could be back to having those higher energy levels and better gains in the gym, motivation to go to the gym, sleeping better, waking up, feeling more refreshed, a lot of things connected to your testosterone level. Heartland Men's Health, successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. All right, wrapping up this hour, we will play some sports or leisure in the next hour.
Fact.
913-381-810, $25 to Johnny's Tavern will be playing with some sports or leisure on a Thursday.
I'm excited.
Are you?
I love sports or leisure.
I do too.
It's one of my favorite things we do.
It's one of your favorite things ever that anybody ever does.
Top 11.
Yep, there you go.
Top 11.
News in college basketball, Bill Self saying no decision has been made on Darren Peterson if he will play against Kansas State with his sprained ankle. A little bit worse than they thought as he ended the game and some pain and swelling. Not ruling him out, but just saying at this time they don't have enough information to say one way or another. Hopefully he plays according to Bill Self, but just yet, don't know.
We're into sports, but nothing wrong with a little leisure time. Why not both?
You're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 40 if you don't learn to relax.
It's time for sports or leisure on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
913-381-810 is the phone number to be a part of the show to play some sports or leisure. 913-381-810. We are giving away $25 to Johnny's Tavern. If you get a sports question and a leisure question right, you're going to win $25 to Johnny's Tavern, whether you like it or not.
Ooh.
And we're just going to shove it right in your face, right down your throat, along with that great food from Johnny's Tavern. That you'll be able to enjoy that. $25, 10 area locations, including Lawrence and Topeka, one of the premier, if not the premier sports bar in Kansas City. It is Johnny's Tavern, and $25 we give away to that in sports or leisure. 913-381-810. How you play? You get a sports question, get a leisure question, get them both right, you win. Either of them wrong, you lose.
Oh.
But the question is out there available for someone to request if they know the answer to it. We give out the right answer when it has been answered correctly, or we have simply run out of time to play. Then we give out the right answer. Easy as that. Categories on the sports side, we have general NFL. We have Chiefs playoffs, and we have college football championship. What about on the leisure side, Sterling?
We have potpourri. We have riddles, and we have who sings this?
Okay.
Name the singer.
Name that
not
singer.
the band.
Okay. Yeah, that is a good distinction because last week we had
Someone got very confused. I'm like, no, I feel like I'm pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Name the singer.
Yeah.
Not the band, because some bands had multiple singers.
That's true.
And I need to know which one.
Because it can be confused when it's like, hey, who sings this? And then you hear the song and you're like, oh, that's from this band.
For example, like AC/DC, and they're like, Brian Johnson. No, it's Bon Scott. They had two singers.
That's right. Yes.
You need to know. One came in 1979, until 79.
Yeah.
The one came on the Back in Black album.
Yeah.
It was 1980, which that was Brian Johnson. Bon Scott was prior to that.
Yeah, and then Bryan Adams. So, just who actually sung that particular
The Adams
song.
Family, that's why.
That's true, too. It ain't a Wednesday. 913-381-810. I'm ready to go. Sterling, you're good to go.
Sure.
Michael?
Let's do it.
All right, let's rock it, man. Who sings that? Rocket Man. I was saying Rock It, R-O-C-K-I-T.
Moving on.
It sound like Rocket Man, you know what I mean? All right, let's head to the phone lines, and we bring in John to lead us off for sports or leisure. John, what side would you like to start with, and what category?
I've got to go Chiefs playoffs.
Chiefs playoffs for you. Okay. Can you please tell me who, or name either of the players with the most touchdown receptions in Chiefs postseason history after Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill? Those players at the top, but name either of the players that are tied for third.
Oh, goodness.
Chiefs history, receiving touchdowns in the postseason, Kelce, Tyreek, and then these two players are tied. Either of them.
Let's see. It's gonna be a recent. Let's see. Running backs. Damian Williams is possible. Tony Gonzalez is possible. Dwayne. Oh, shoot.
Kevin Garnett told us anything is possible.
Yeah. But that's not a hint, by
That's
the way.
not the hint. That's just
It's just he was wanting to
say that line.
say the anything is possible.
Let's see.
You may have said a name that may have been helpful
You know
earlier.
what, just for sake of time, go ahead and throw one of your first thoughts out there.
Oh, there's the clock. Oh, shoot.
It's the clock.
Let's see.
What do you say? Throw that.
McCole, Hardman.
Is that your answer?
I'll go with McCall.
McCall Hardman actually is one of the two.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
How about that? You named the other one that's tied with McCall Hardman, and that
Who's
is
that?
the first name that you said was Damian Williams.
Oh, shoot.
Damian Williams and McCall Hardman both have 4 receiving touchdowns in the postseason. There are 2 players tied with 3. Who are they? MVS and Byron Pringle are top 5 all time in receiving touchdowns for Chiefs in postseason history. Leisure with Sterling.
What are you thinking? Riddles, potpourri, or who sings this?
I'm going to go with who sings this because I'm still hoping Belinda Carlisle comes up, but I'm just crossing my fingers. But go ahead.
It's Brandy Carlisle. I'm sorry,
Oh,
you don't
damn.
have that. We will go with Panama. Jump.
Come on, Jim. That's David Lee Roth.
That is David Lee Roth. That is Diamond Dave.
Nice job. Yeah, absolutely. John, we will put you on hold to get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. And by the way, no hints given either.
I don't need to know. That was.
I'm just talking about in both of them.
Oh, true.
You know, no hints. Didn't you weren't ultra nice and saying, "Oh, guess for the 7th time." Let's go to Avery next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Avery, sports or the leisure?
I'll do potpourri.
Potpourri. Let's go to. Who was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize?
Marie Curie.
That is correct. You nailed it.
Marie Curie.
Good job. We're proud of you, Avery.
Yep.
Smart show. Smart show, Avery.
All right. What category on the sports side are you thinking?
I'll do Chiefs playoff.
All right. Who's the Chiefs player that played in the playoffs and won a Nobel Peace Prize? Just joking.
Dr.
Dr. Cactus. Besides Tom Brady, there are 3 quarterbacks that have beaten the Chiefs more than once in the playoffs. Who are they?
Would Peyton Manning be one of those?
Peyton was one of them.
You said there's 3?
There's 3 of them.
Andy Luck did it once. Would Jim Kelly have done that?
Jim Kelly is one of them.
Okay.
I got one more.
Okay. Is it after Peyton Manning, between Peyton Manning and Jim Kelly?
You know what, Avery? Because you've been killing it so far, I'll give you the hint. You're heading in the right direction timeline with the Peyton. With Peyton, then Jim, and that timeline you're heading in is the right path.
So before Jim Kelly is what you're saying?
I mean, it's easier to say it that way, yeah, but I just like to present it the way that I did.
I liked it too. It was like riddles, but in sports.
Keep going in that path in past history. Peyton to Jim Kelly to this guy.
Jim Kelly, like early '90s. They didn't make it for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Was it like against like Len Dawson or something? Like,
no.
Is it that far back?
No, it's right around Jim Kelly, right around James Kelly.
Right around Jim Kelly. Mm-hmm. Can I get a team hint?
In the AFC.
Yes, that would make sense. That's excellent hint. Thank you. You're doing a great job.
No problem.
Okay.
It's not the Jags or the Texans.
Would it have been like an Oiler?
No, I'm just saying it's not the Jags or the Texans because they're newer teams and not really existing back in that time frame. So I'm giving you hints that are not helpful at all.
It's not Warren Moon or before Jim Kelly, like a Steeler.
I don't know.
Like Neil O'Donnell. With like a Harbaugh, the Colts was like 95, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not before Kelly. Is
Well, I'll stop wasting your time. I'll just say Harbaugh.
Harbaugh did beat him once, but that was it for Harbaugh. Very close, Avery. Nice job, though. Yes, nice job, brother. Thank you for playing, man. Appreciate it.
All right, I love you guys. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Oh, we love you too. Oh,
That's right. It's so nice of him.
We do love our listeners.
Avery didn't win, still loves us. You know, that's true love. If you don't get what you want, and yet you still have that love for that person. Tim, next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Tim, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with and what category?
I think, can I take that last one of Avery's? I hate to do that.
That's fine.
Right off the bat.
No, that's fine. Which, who's
I'm not certain either, but I think it's Dan Marino.
Dan Marino is correct. Marino, Kelly, and Manning.
Wow,
yes.
nice.
Yeah,
good job,
and
Tim.
I'm shocked that Avery didn't get that. He's too young.
Yeah, Marino Gun Kelly is what they called him.
Good job, Timbo Slice.
Yes, Marino, Kelly, Manning. Over to leisure with Sterling.
Okay, you're not going to give me Bon Scott, are you? Because I'll take that one any day.
No, we finished AC/DC last week.
Okay. Let's do that category, however. I'll risk it all right here.
Yeah, risk it all.
All righty.
Let it ride.
Why can't this be love? 5150 pound cake.
Wait, you had the same band as you had earlier, but with a different lead singer.
Could be. Who sings this?
Who sings it?
Sammy Hagar.
That is Sammy Hagar.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, the connection there.
Cabo Mystique. I just returned from Cabo the day before yesterday.
He's a tricky,
see?
Tricky guy.
That's the Wabo.
He's a tricky
I love
guy.
Sammy Hagar, but I mean David Lee Roth was just, to me, I mean, I don't think it's even close. It was
right.
Right.
I like Sammy with his solo stuff.
Yeah, Sammy solo is outstanding.
Yeah.
But for my money, it doesn't get any better than when he sings "When a Man Loves a Woman."
However,
So,
he was not there.
yeah. Hey, Tim, we'll put you on hold. Congratulations. That was quick, man. Got to the finish line. Well done.
Got his.
Thank you.
Got in,
sir.
got out.
$25 to Johnny's Tavern is heading his way. 913-381-0810 is the phone number. We go back to the phone lines and we talk and bring in Nate to the show, to the game. Nate, what side do you want to start with and what category are you thinking?
Hey, guys, what was the sports category again?
Yeah, we had just general NFL, and then we had Chiefs playoffs and college football national championship.
Let's go general NFL.
All right, very good. Andy Reid is now the longest tenured coach in the NFL at his current position. Name either of the coaches who are the second longest tenured coaches.
Ooh.
They were hired the same year.
Hired the same year.
Yep. Either of those coaches.
Let's see here. I'm thinking NFC West. Let's go with John Harbaugh.
He's not.
Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh.
Jim hasn't been there very long. I'll give you another.
Oh, John Harbaugh.
Nope, neither Harbaugh. No Harbaugh.
Okay, well,
I'll let
there
you.
goes that.
No, I'll let you give it some more thought.
Let's see here.
Sterling said, "Let him think a little longer." So
did?
I said, "Okay, all right."
Yeah,
Sterling was being nice.
we're a kind show. It's a nice Thursday.
You know what we're
Storm is a brewing.
See, that's the thing. We're trying to get people $25 Johnny's Tavern so they can get some food and have it at the house. You know, or when you finally get out from being hunkered down, that you can get out and enjoy yourself. Let's go out to eat. Let's get out of the house. Hey, I got $25 Johnny's Tavern. Let's go.
Boom.
There. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do today. You know, it's all about the storm.
Trying to feed it to me, and I'm not picking it up.
I know. Well, you know what? Those aren't hints, though. We're just saying that's what we're trying to do. Either of the coaches that are the second longest tenured in the NFL right now.
Second longest tenured in the NFL.
Behind
I'm just
Andy
drawing a
Reid.
complete blank. Oh, guys. First-time caller just completely dropping the ball here.
No,
I've
you're-
got nothing right now.
All right.
It's way harder. First time caller, I'll admit, way harder than you think. You're like, I know the answer. Obviously, I know this. And then you're calling, you're like, my brain turns to confusion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm great when I'm not on the phone line.
Oh, the best shows I do are when the mic's not on. Amazing.
Hey.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, sorry guys, it was fun.
Hey, Nate, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. Don't be a stranger. 913-381-0810 is the phone number. That question is out there available for either of those coaches that are the now second longest tenured coaches after Harbaugh and Tomlin were let go at their spots. Let's bring in, waiting the longest, Charles next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Charles, what side do you want to start with? What category are you thinking?
Let's do that general NFL question that the guy just missed.
Yes, make him feel bad about himself.
Wow.
Either, I mean, because that's what's going to happen. No, but that's what's going to happen. He's going to go, of course, that's what it was. What do you name either of the coaches?
You said either of the coaches, right?
Yeah, either of them, yeah.
I think Kyle Shanahan's one of them.
That is correct. Anybody want to throw a dart as to who the other one is? Hired the same offseason as Kyle's Shanahan?
One more time.
Second longest tenured coach behind Andy Reid now. Hired the same offseason. They're both tied. Kyle Shanahan and this coach. He's already got it right, so he'll go to Leisure. I'm just for S's and G's.
Yeah, I have to do some.
He's still coaching right now.
Some ciphering. Well, he would have to still.
No,
be.
I'm talking about literally this weekend.
Well, it's not Mike Vrabel. It's not Mike McDonald. It's not Sean Payton.
So it is.
Rams coach, maybe.
So that is Sean McVay.
Sean
That is
McVay and Kyle
crazy.
Shanahan are
I would
the
not
second
have,
longest tenured coaches behind Andy Reid now.
I would not have got. Sean McVay feels like it's still been like 6 years.
Right? They both have coached in a Super Bowl. One's happened to win one.
Yeah.
Because they didn't go up against Andy Reid and Patrick
Yeah,
Mahomes.
that was almost a trick question. You would not think of McVay.
Yeah. Over to Leisure with Sterling.
What's the list of Leisure?
Yeah, we have potpourri, we have riddles, and we have who sings this. Name the singer, not the band.
Do the potpourri.
Potpourri. What is the name of the world's longest river?
World's longest river.
It is not in America.
Pretty sure it's the Nile River.
It is the Nile. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in denial.
If you don't want to admit your faults, you would be on this river.
You'd be in denial. What's a crocodile's favorite river? Crocodile. That was really bad. I hate that.
What's my least favorite joke Sterling ever told?
That one.
That one. Charles, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir. Another winner.
Winner, chicken dinner.
There you go. 913-381-0810. We take a timeout. We come back. We continue rolling, playing some sports or leisure. Just that easy. 913-381-0810. Plenty of questions left in the playoffs for the Chiefs, the NFL, and a few college football national championship questions with Indiana somehow turning into a powerhouse in college football. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 913-381-810 on a Thursday, playing some sports or leisure. Thank you to Ken Swanson earlier in the show joining us, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. He's down in Dallas getting ready for the East-West Shrine Bowl that they'll be covering for KCSN. And then we talked with Field Yates at noon from ESPN. Got his thoughts on the fiasco that was the Buffalo Bills press conference, Josh Allen, that coaching vacancy, Chad O'Shea, Eric Bieniemy, the combination of the different systems that they were in, now heading to Kansas City. All of that from Field Yates. If you missed some of that, you can check it out on the podcast. 913-381-810. Playing sports or leisure, $25 to Johnny's Tavern. We're giving away for sports or leisure. Let's reset the categories real quick. We have general NFL, we have Chiefs playoffs, and we have the college football national championship. A few questions from that. 913-381-810. Leisure categories. Sterling.
We have riddles. We have Who Sings This?
I don't know.
Name the singer, not the band.
Okay.
And then potpourri. I guess you can name the band, but it's not going to help you. You don't win.
Right,
You can name the singer,
You can name the band on your way to naming the singer.
Yes, correct.
You can do that.
Yeah.
So, all right, there we go. 913-381-810. To the phone lines we go. Holding the longest is Ryan to play some sports or leisure. Ryan, what side you looking at first and what category?
Let's go general NFL.
All right, let's go general NFL for you. All right, Josh Allen did not have a rushing touchdown this past weekend against the Broncos. That still leaves him one shy of the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in the postseason. Who has the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in the postseason?
Is it a current player, or it could be anybody in the past?
It's a current player. It's a current player.
Oh, I gotta think the tush push got a few. Let's go Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts is correct. If we had some trouble with that, my next hint was going to be their rushing touchdowns. A number of them have a certain thing in common, that they get pushed on their tush to get in there for the touchdown. But Jalen Hurts, by one, has the lead in all-time rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in the postseason. Nice job. Leisure with Sterling.
Can you name the categories again?
Yeah, potpourri, riddles, and Who Sings This?
Let's go Who Sings This?
All right, Who Sings This? Name the singer, not the band. Even Flow, Alive.
That would be Eddie Vedder.
That would be Even Flow. Nailed it. Good job.
Thank you. Appreciate those are the actual lyrics, too. Ryan, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations. Well done. Nice job. Coolio.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. $25. Johnny's Tavern heading his way. And now we head back to the phone lines and we bring in Shane to play some sports or leisure. 913-381-810. Shane, what side would you like to start with and what category are you thinking?
Hi, guys. Start with sports, and I'd like to do Kansas City playoffs.
All right. Chiefs playoffs for you. Name either of the two players in Chiefs history that rank in the top 5 all-time of postseason receiving yards that did not play with Patrick Mahomes. There are two players in postseason receiving yards for the Chiefs in the top 5 all-time that never caught a pass from Patrick Mahomes in the postseason. The other 3 are Mahomes. So 2 guys. Name either.
Doesn't leave me a lot. Let's see. Think back to Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
I had one guy. Let's see.
And at least a number of games that could collect some of the yards.
I'm going to say I have to guess here. I'm going to say I'll just go ahead with go really far back. Am I on the right track?
You are on the right track. That is true.
Otis Taylor. That's what I was going to say.
Otis Taylor. That is right. He is 3rd all time. Who is 5th all time right now is one. You want to guess, Sterling? You have an idea?
I was going to say something crazy like Albert Wilson or like.
No, it's a J.J. Burden.
I was going to say Stephon Page. Yeah, J.J. Burden makes sense, yeah.
J.J. Burden is 5th. Otis Taylor is 3rd. Well done. Over to Leisure with Sterling.
We have riddles, potpourri, and who sings this?
Who sings this, please?
All right. How difficult do you want to go? How much fun do you want to have?
Yeah, let's have a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's fun it up.
Let's have a lot of fun.
For you guys, I'm just going to be sitting back here.
This was
like
their
a
main
child.
song was Without You, but the album they did was Van Halen 3.
Wait a minute. You said that their main song was Without You?
No, the main song was called Without You.
Okay.
Off of the album Van Halen 3.
Well, all right. So you did Hagar earlier.
I sure did.
And it's not. And David Lee Roth is. Well, okay. So it's David Lee Roth.
Did we
Yeah, we used David Lee Roth.
We used David Lee Roth
I'm
earlier.
trying to use him too.
Not that
I
you
don't
would know that.
Okay. I am trying to think of who else sang on a Van Halen album.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking. You said you wanted to have fun. This is maybe the most fun one we have.
Oh, wow.
Really? Oh.
You said you wanted to have fun.
Really?
He was with Van Halen for 4. This guy was with Van Halen for 4 years.
Oh.
In the late '90s. It was the last album with Michael. Was it Michael Anthony?
Oh, geez. Okay. I have that sucks because I know music pretty good, but I did not know that answer. I regret.
Wanting to have fun.
Okay, how about this though?
Yeah.
This singer also sang the song "More Than Words" with a different band.
Oh, it's Extreme.
Uh-huh.
But
What is his name? I don't know his name.
I have
terrible.
no clue.
You said you wanted to have
No
fun.
clue who's
So
I don't know.
Extreme.
I'm not going to try this. I don't know, Sterling. I don't know.
Yes.
I can picture the guy. I've seen that video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, I like that song. It's a
I know
really good
Matt
song.
Derrick is going to be texting
Oh,
in any
100%.
moment right now.
Yes. Yes.
Oh well, thanks for the opportunity.
Hey, Shane, thank you, man. Thank you for playing, brother. I appreciate it.
He did say he wanted. He did
It was
say
fun. That was fun. That was a fun one.
So
That was a fun
one's
one.
out there. Main song "Without You."
Yeah.
Van Halen 3 was the album.
There you go. So there's your hint with the Extreme. All right, we head to the phone lines. We bring in David to play some sports or leisure. David, what side do you want to start with, and what category are you thinking?
Let's go with leisure. I'll start with that Van Halen question.
Oh yeah, who is it? Who's the singer on that album?
Gary. Sharon.
Gary Sharon.
Yeah.
Singer of Extreme and that one album with Van Halen that for some reason Matt Derrick loves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, even Gary Sharon didn't like that album.
Yeah, we'll have to play some.
How many of them?
That's funny. And we'll have to play some of that tomorrow with Matt Derrick on
Yeah,
Friday.
we'll have to play that,
We'll have
yeah.
to do that. All right, on to the sports side. We have general NFL. We have one more Chiefs playoff question left, and we have college football national championship.
I was going to take like a general football question, like what radio announcer has one catch against Rockhurst?
Or Rockhurst? Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
You know, I know the answer to it, but that's a very specific one. That's tough to get to, David. I don't know, man.
General NFL.
All right, very good. Let's see. You know what? Let's go
Only
with this.
$25 worth of fun, though.
There you go. Who are the 4 franchises to win a playoff game in 6 consecutive seasons?
4 franchises to win.
At least one playoff game in 6 consecutive
4
seasons.
franchises. Buffalo.
Buffalo's the recent one, yep. They just completed their 6th straight.
Answer the question one more time.
So 4 franchises to win at least a playoff game in 6 consecutive seasons. 6 straight years winning at least one playoff game. Buffalo, this was their 6th. 3 more.
Kansas City.
The Chiefs, correct. And 2 more. I will tell you, here's my hint with this. 3 of the franchises won 3 Super Bowls in their run of their consecutive winning streaks, while the Bills didn't even go to one. The other 3, so the 2 others that you're thinking of, won 3 Super Bowls.
There's
Or
an
went to.
AFC and an NFC left, right?
There is. Yeah, well done.
San Fran and Pittsburgh.
No?
Would be a guess that I might have, but not my final answer.
Yeah. Because you brought up the Rockhurst catch, I'm going to let you guess
right?
again. You know? You don't have to think that far back.
Not that far back.
One of them you don't really have to think that far
New
back.
England.
New England Patriots. Yep. And then one more.
And then the FC team would be. Did the Vikings go to 4 straight Super Bowls?
No.
Or
No.
they lose 4. I was
Nope,
bummed.
they won one. But you got Super Bowl champions in this one. Dynasty.
NFC Dynasty, lead San Francisco.
That's a great one, Darcy.
One more time?
What was that, Darcy? Oh.
Oh, the Greg Norton-led Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys. Nice job. You got there on your own. Well done, man. That was
No
easy
hints,
enough.
yeah.
No hints whatsoever. Cowboys, Patriots, Chiefs, and Bills. Wow, one of those is not like the other. One of those is not like the other in terms of championships. Was that just sports, or did you get leisure too?
He got Gary Sharon.
Oh, yeah, Gary Sharon, that's right. David, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Not the same
Ladies
as
and gentlemen, great show.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you for being a part
not
of it.
the same as the Knacks, My Sharona.
But that's who they're talking about, though.
Probably.
That's the namesake of the song.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Obviously, or else why would they be so close?
Yeah, like who's Jesse? You know, they want Jesse's girl, but who is Jesse?
No one knows.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yep. All right, 913-3810810. We go to Randy next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Randy, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with, and what category are you thinking?
Okay, sports, and could you review the categories on sports, please?
No problem. We have general NFL. We have a couple questions left with that. We have one question left in Chiefs playoffs, and we have college football national championship questions.
Woo. Let's see. How about let's just try the college football national champions.
All right, very good. I like that. Okay, so we'll go with this one then, and I'll make it a little bit easier since you're the first one to try it. College football playoff debuted in 2014. Fernando Mendoza on Monday became the 4th player to win the Heisman and the national championship playoffs in the same year. I was going to have multiple, but you know what? First one to ask for the category. Just name one of the other 3 players to win the Heisman and also the national championship in the same year in the college football playoff era, 2014. 3 other players.
Gosh.
And I'll tell you, they take up 3 different positions. That's fun, too.
Okay. Okay. Okay, wild guess. Cam Newton?
That was pre-playoffs, but I'll give you another guess. It was pre-playoffs, but he did do that.
Okay.
But
let's
we'll give
see.
you another guess. So since then.
Okay. How about Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry is correct. Well done. Derrick Henry got it done. There are 2 others that played a different position that you don't need to answer because I said you only needed one. Sterling, there's a national championship in the college football playoff era and the Heisman the same year. And it, oddly enough, with Fernando Mendoza now, but it covers 3 different positions, the other 3 players.
Devontae Smith.
Devonta Smith is the wide receiver, running back, and now what the other position would be.
The other position, so you have quarterback, running back, wide receiver.
But I'm saying the other 3 are that. Don't worry about Mendoza.
Oh, so then it is a quarterback.
It's a quarterback,
Okay,
yes.
so I get what you're saying now then.
Yep.
Trying to think, would it have been
it wasn't
AJ McCarron?
No,
Not AJ McCarron.
it wasn't a memorable one because they were so dominant, and he was so dominant.
Was it like Will Howard?
And he got the nickname of being kind of cool.
Oh, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Yes.
I was
Joe
trying.
Burrow.
I'm like, Will Howard didn't win the Heisman, but they won with Ohio State, and they were dominant. I guess.
Yeah. Derrick Henry, Joe Burrow, Devonta Smith, and Fernando Mendoza. Leisure with Sterling.
Who sings this? Potpourri and riddles.
I'm thinking out loud here. The who sings this seems like it may be a little skewed towards more modern music, I think.
Well, I have a couple. I've one from, going back to the early
You can
1980s.
go back to 1930 if you want to. He knows music like that. He wouldn't do.
Yeah, let's go with who sings this. Then it sounds like you're.
This one's early 1980s. One of my favorite singers. I talk about this band a lot on this show. The band has The Trooper, Fear of the Dark, two just phenomenal songs by this band. His voice is very almost opera sounding too, as well. Yeah.
Wow, I'm drawing a blank on that one.
They sang "Wasted Years." Their mascot is a mummy named Eddie.
Eddie?
Yeah, Eddie. Their drummer, Nico McBrain, just retired from the band.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Still going strong.
And he's now in a cover band, actually, which is even funnier, of that band.
How about that?
Yeah, funny. They're British originally.
They're British.
They're British, okay.
They're British.
British.
They probably love Harry Kane.
Gosh. All I can think of is some kind of a group called Here Come the Mummies or something like that.
No, it's nothing like that.
No, it's one of Sterling's favorite bands.
One of my favorite bands, and again, the song "The Trooper" is obviously a massive song. "Run to the Hills" was another massive song. "Fear of the Dark," huge song.
Yep. That's right.
Boy, I you know what? I wish I could say those clues were triggering it for me, but I'm blank.
Yeah. Randy, thank you for playing, sir. I appreciate it, man. Have a good one, brother. 91338. Thank you. I apologize. 9133810. Before we go to break, let's bring in Jeff. Waiting patiently. Jeff, Sports or Leisure, what side do you want to start with and a category you're thinking of?
Okay, Leisure. Sterling?
Yes, sir.
I don't want any dang fun at all.
He doesn't like
no
fun.
No fun.
Okay.
No fun at all. I want a riddle that's
no fun,
stupider than me.
Okay.
All right. There you go.
This one's pretty silly. What runs all around a backyard, yet never moves?
Oh, yeah.
You get it, Jason?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What runs all around a backyard, yet never moves?
I think there's a couple of answers, but it's the same.
Yeah.
Sort of the same thing. Yeah. We'll see if that riddle is stupider than you, Jeff, as you asked for. We'll see if that's the case.
Jason got it. If Jason can get
exactly.
it,
That's a great point.
trust you.
It's a really good point. That's a really good point.
What runs all around a backyard, yet never moves? You might even have one.
Yeah, you may.
A lot of houses have these.
Yep, that's true.
A lot of houses do.
Yeah. Pretty much every house has one of the answers I was thinking of, but
Runs around the yard, a dog.
But it never moves.
But it never moves.
It just runs around the yard.
That's right.
Fence, grass.
Oh, you nailed it. Yeah,
it's fence, but also property line.
Yeah, property line, I guess.
Property line, but fence.
Fence was the correct answer.
Fence is the right answer.
Good job.
Nice job.
Yeah, see,
Well
once
done.
you started thinking and just said it, you nailed it.
Right, absolutely. See, it was stupider than you. On to sports. We've got general NFL, Chiefs playoff, and college football championship. What are you thinking, Jeff?
What would be the no fun?
I don't know. You decide which one you want to go with.
Chiefs playoffs, I guess.
Chiefs playoff. All right. The Chiefs finally broke the home playoff losing streak versus the Colts in 2018. Which player scored the first touchdown of the game? Got essentially the Patrick Mahomes era started in Kansas City in 18 versus the Colts. Who scored the first touchdown of that game? Mm-hmm. Yep. Played on offense.
You gotta walk me through it.
He played on offense. That's what I could tell you. It was not a defensive or punt return. It wasn't a Rashid Shaheed type player over the weekend. Nope. It's just your general offensive drive down the field to score.
Wide receiver, running back.
Offensive player. Throw it dart, Jeff. What do you think? Kelsey. You know what? It's a guess that I might have gone with, Kelsey or Tyreek Hill, but it is incorrect. We take a timeout. We come back. More Zone right after this. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, heading up until 2 o'clock. One more segment to go, just a little bit here before we hand it off to Soren Petro and the program. One question I did not get an answer to, we were at Chiefs playoffs category, was Chiefs finally broke the home playoff losing streak versus the Colts in 2018. Who scored the first touchdown of the game? That was
Niall Davis?
It was not Kanile. The home playoff streak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, the home playoff streak, 2018 versus the Colts. They deferred. Colts went 3 and out. Chiefs got the ball, drove right down the field, and of course, Damian Williams scored the first touchdown to get that thing rolling.
I heard Colts, and I thought,
that was
did he
Texans,
score a playoff? He did.
Now,
2013,
That was the kickoff return.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking, and that's probably against the Colts.
No, 2013. Yeah. The Texans was 2015, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Texans
You know what?
was
I say
2015.
give me it for getting Niall Davis correctly. I feel like that still counts.
If fumbling the football is cool, consider me Niall Davis.
I had that one that was not answered, but I'm going to leave it because people will forget about it, and I'm going to use it next week.
Johnny's Tavern, check it out.